Okay.
I believe we have started. And we are live. Good.
Are we live yet?
Hello. Welcome to another Four Horsemen stream. My name is James, otherwise known as No Zaku Boy. Today we will be going over the initial build and seamline removal and LED installation of the CS Crossframe Zaku 2. It is a pleasure to have you all here. So we shall start with introductions. No Geo today, so we'll start with introductions anyway, moving on to Daft. Take it away when you are ready.
Well, hello there. I am the Daft Robo, a.k.a. Shane, a.k.a. Dr. Funkenstein. I'm here with Mrs. Robo. Coming live at you. That's what we got.
All right.
Yes.
We got Taz.
Hi. Yeah, it's Gundam Tas. Coming from Melbourne anyway. Yeah, how you guys going? Yeah.
Welcome to stream. All right, so
I've only got this camera facing, so I can't be bothered changing the views and shit. So my Zaku will speak for me. Yeah.
I think we're all in the same boat on that one.
Where's my arms?
To Zaku 2, how are you? Old school, welcome. Phil, welcome. Jesus, welcome. Thank you for joining us all. So today we are just going to be going over. So we'll start with routing wires for LEDs, pre-planning for that. We'll go over removing mold lines. There's a few around the kit, as well as removing seam lines, and just pretty much planning for painting, planning for LEDs, planning for just the steps you would go over. So for a lot of you, this may be a boring episode and you already know most of it, but we figured we may as well start from the beginning to help people who aren't so competent removing seams or running wires for LEDs and so on and so forth.
I'm not competent.
You're not competent, yes. So we've all pretty much snap built our kits at this point. None of the seams are removed. I've done nothing to this kit aside from snap build it.
Yeah, I haven't removed any nubs or anything, so I'll be doing that today as well, really quickly.
So all right, so the reason I snap build a kit like this before I do any other work is, one, so I can see how it's built, and I like to use a finished model snap built like this to decide what I actually want to do to this kit. Say if I want to put an LED in the face or the mono eye, it's like, all right, how is the wire going to get from here all the way out, and where's it going to exit the body? So in 90% of my cases, I will run wires through bodies down the leg and out the base of the foot, because I tend to put them in dioramas, so it doesn't matter. And so on and so forth. So just snap building a kit makes it a lot easier to sort of judge what stuff you have to do to a model anyway. Same with, I don't know how you guys tend to do it, so you've got an easier time pulling apart your kits, but I tend to do the 45-degree cut on the pegs. So when you put a piece together, it still holds, but it comes apart very easily. And that's simply just cutting from the top to the bottom of a peg, just a 45-degree angle. And that just allows it to not bind as tightly.
I do the exact same thing. Yeah, I do the exact same thing. I know I watched Tim do it with the drill, like a pin vise. He just gets a slightly bigger, wallows out the peg holes for the pegs. But
yeah, and I
usually just chop them at a 45.
Yeah, so I mean that's the way I do it, because I don't have 1001 grinding bits to make the peg hole a bit bigger, but that is what it is. So anyway, now that we've pretty much snap built our kit and seen what we want to do, we've got 5 seam lines to address on this kit. We got the ones on the forearm, so there's one on each forearm. We've got the ones on the leg armor, The one on the chest here is actually unimportant because it's got like that panel line recess, so we technically don't need to do anything about that to worry about it. And then you've got the one on the shoulder, which is your typical like old school style Zaku spike shoulder that is a pain in the ass where they just go, we'll cut it in half straight down the middle because reasons.
Because why?
Because I guess they just like to test. But everything else, head-wise, is nothing worth addressing. Just nubs here and there to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we will start with running of the wires first, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can't really seal the seams if we don't run the wires.
Yeah. All right. So as we know, we're going to have one LED in the head. We're not going to do the Bmax because it's a lot of effort. I will go over roughly how I would do it if you want to do it, but for now,
I'll be doing it on mine. So
yeah, for now we're just going to. I'll just go over roughly what I would do to make it work well, but that'll be towards the end of the episode anyway.
What up, Mr. Awesome?
So then
what up, Witchy? What up, Tim?
So for beginning points, we know we want the LED coming through from the mono eye. It'll need to run through the chest, which is pretty good, like easy to do as there's a lot of gaps already and there's 2 holes that come out directly where it connects. So grabbing just some wire, I'll show you what I mean. Like I can then already know I'm just going to feed wire through the kit quite easily. And then that's not an issue. Like, so I know I don't need to worry about rerouting holes in the chest like this because I can, once the head goes on and that's tucked in, you'll never notice. The only place that you will have to hide wires is through, we'll need to drill a hole in the skirt and we'll need to route wires in the left or right leg, doesn't matter. I generally run both wires through one area, like one hole. We'll pretty much go, because I'm using both larger wire, I might end up actually running a one wire through each leg, because why not?
James, what are you, what wire gauge, gauge wire are you using right now?
So I am using 100 gauge wire, which is 0.63 millimeters.
Geez, that's thick.
Yeah, well, because it's normally I would use a very thin, like a 0.2 of a millimeter wire.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just grab it here. Normally I use 0.3, sorry. So this is 0.3 of a millimeter.
I'm going to be sending out some wire and LEDs to some people in the States. So while we're here, let me just throw out a disclaimer that if you are in the States and need some wire and some LEDs for this build, DM me your address in Instagram and I will send. I've got 6 so far. I'm going to send out. I sent some out today already, so just hit me up. I'll be using 26 gauge wire, so it's a little thin. It's a little more thin.
26. So that's what I usually use. 26 gauge is my standard.
I usually use 30, so my standard's actually thinner than this.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're going to be doing, I want to disclaimer this before you start drilling holes in that. Necessarily you don't have to use, as big as a drill bit or as big as James is going to use, because the wire that I'm going to send you or that I'm going to use is considerably thinner.
Yeah. What are you using, Daft? Sorry, man.
I'm using 26 gauge. I'm not sure the size of drill bit I'll be using yet, but
so 26 gauge is 0.3 millimeters.
Is it 0.3?
It's 0.3. It is 0.3. I've got 26 gauge here, and it's got the millimeter on the bottom there.
I've got 26.
Well, the enamel coating, with my enamel coating, it says it's 0.4.
Oh, right. Yeah, I got 0.4 then.
Yeah,
so 0.4 as well.
Usually use. Well, we can all use that if you want, but yeah, you tend to use whatever you've got on hand. The only
thing
reason...
is that
I'm using bigger wire in this is because it's an SD, I can get away with using thicker wire and it's less likely to break. Normally, I find with the really thin stuff, I've snapped it from moving joints every now and then too much. But I mean, in an SD, you're not really worried about any of that.
No.
But yeah, so enamel wire, nice and... Yeah. Oh, the other reason I recommend you guys use enamel-coated wire is... So this has got like a clear enamel coating over the wire. And the best part about that is you can twist this wire together on itself and it won't short out, which is why it's really good to use. All you have to do when you solder it is burn off the enamel coating at the end or sand it off. Generally, I just use the soldering iron on high and just hold it against till you see it bubble and melt off. But that is what that is. So
we'll go over more of that. We'll go over that more when we wire up the LEDs and stuff.
Exactly. So that'll be a lesson for another time, pretty much before final assembly. All right, so we may as well start with drilling. Where's Geo? We do not know where he is. He is dead.
Geo is not dead, but he's not here. That's all we know.
Yeah.
He's not dead and he's not here. That's all we know.
Right,
burning things. I also like to use we'll go over the wiring. I was going to say some other thing about. I'd like to have a little butane lighter I hit the enamel wire with.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
No, what sucks is I've noticed that when you use it, like you need to have it in a pair of pliers or a pair of like tweezers because you'll burn off more enamel coating than you want.
Oh, okay. Yep.
If you take the end of some tweezers or pliers, whatever, at the end, it dissipates the heat, so it only burns off to where those stop.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and I've never actually thought about using that. I just got so used to using the bloody soldering iron to do it.
Yeah.
But that is what it is. All right, so
back to
it. So first things first is we shall disassemble most of the leg for... So essentially, I just want to work out at this point where I want to run the wire. I already know I'm coming through the chest leg here. So looking at this piece, you can see I've got the foot coming there. In the foot, I already know I want to pump the wire. Looking at how the foot goes together, you can see there's a nice hole that actually where the foot peg plugs into, that it goes down into the foot and then pretty much out the back here. So I essentially want to run my wire directly through the center of that peg that plugs in, and then it'll come directly out the bottom. So then when we run the peg through here, I want to drill a hole through the center of this. So as the wire comes down, we can feed it directly into the top of the leg hole and then straight out. So I already know, like, I can pretty much ignore the green armor pieces, and then we can pull apart this and have a look at where we're going to run the wire from. So judging by this, you can see if we come straight through the top, we'll pop out into this little cavity, which is cool. So then we can come down that cavity through the bottom.
What up, Brian?
Through each of those sections. And looking at the back, this is the other thing you want to pay attention to, is see where anything plugs into, if it does or not. Whereas, so you're aware that the wire, if we run it through that section there, that hole there actually plugs into this peg. Mm-hmm. So we want to, when we come through, sort of, you can flick around and see where it comes. Now, I've just noticed I can actually come either side and actually bypass that peg. And then we can work out there. But because this peg's also going to get in the way, because I want to run the wire and actually have it come out this hole. And if I leave that peg there, it's going to impact my way to run the wire. So I'm actually going to cut that peg off completely. because once we glue these parts together, that peg's not necessary because it's pegged in via the front anyway. And then once those are two glued together. So it's a lot of sort of figuring it out as you go. So at the moment I'm using a 0.8 millimeter drill bit. So it's like 0.2 mil bigger than my wire. I just like it a little bit bigger because that way you've got more room to feed the wire and you're not getting too tight on it. So the first thing I shall do is we're just going to go from the top of that pin and take our pin vise and just directly drill down and just keep going till we punch out through the other side. Now I'm going to do this in both legs because I'm just going to run one wire per leg at this point for the purpose of this. So just through, and then you can see there the wire has punched through.
What up, Gabe?
So, and then you can see there that wire will feed through quite nicely.
I'm so slow.
Okay, so
where did you
once I have smashed through the next thing I want to do is drill a hole through this section and then a hole through there as well, because what I'm going to do is just grab my nippers quickly and just remove this peg because it's not needed. And that'll just allow, once this hits there, it'll still, I haven't fully removed it, but I've removed it just enough that the wire will slip past it and it still grabs a little bit, but it's not necessary to have it in. So the next thing we'll do is just go from the same thing we did at the top peg. We'll just drill from the bottom. So just go from the center of that hole and center of the ball and just work your way through. So, yeah, I'm going to do this to both legs just because the wire I'm using is quite large. If you use a bigger hole, say you're using the 0.3 mil, the 26 gauge wire, I could probably fit both of those wires through the one leg. You know what? Maybe I should use the thinner wire. It'll be easier. I might just do it in one leg.
Just use a thinner wire. That's what everyone here in the
so do you,
hey, what up, George? It's all good, man.
Ah, son of a bitch.
What'd you do?
Snap.
So these shitty drill bits I've been using tend to break if you twist them badly because they're so small. And now the drill bit's stuck in the bottom of that piece.
Nice.
So we will just fish that one out.
So you're only going to run the wire through one leg? Is that right?
Yeah, we'll just run it through the one leg at this point. Just pick a leg.
Yeah, Taz, what gauge wire did you get, Taz?
Sorry, mate?
What gauge wire did you get?
I'm using the 25, so 4.4 mil.
Yeah, so
okay.
if you use like a 0.8 mil drill bit, you'll be fine because you'll get two wires through, or use like a close to a mil if you can. Can't hurt.
Yeah, just make sure you drill it straight. Hey.
Yeah, try to drill.
Want to make sure. Yeah.
Oops. Let's try that.
Yeah, just drill as straight as you can. Generally helps.
Yeah.
The straighter the better. So it is quite tedious.
All right, I want to try the other leg.
Did you fuck the first leg up?
Oh, it's just on the side. It's not like straight, and it's fucking bugging me.
It shouldn't matter. Like as long as you get the hole through.
Oh well, look.
Where'd you get it, man?
This one's okay. Oh,
where'd it come out?
That one's bad. Yeah. On its side, on the ball, like right there.
Yeah, so try to keep it as straight as possible.
I'm doing it off camera, so.
No, fair enough. So usually as I'll sit there, it's push it, sort of just force, like when you put the first pin vice drill bit, just push it hard against the center of the ball, and then just when you start drilling, you want to keep the drill straight with the piece. And if you're concerned about how you're doing it, just rotate it around so you can see what angle that's happening on.
Fuck's sake.
You're struggling a bit there, mate.
Hey?
Struggling a bit?
Yeah, just, no, it doesn't want to, no, fuck it. Next leg.
No, but it's good. See, this is good for everyone.
Lucky there's 2 legs.
Well, essentially, remember this piece is never going to be seen. So drilling a hole accidentally through shouldn't matter too much. So I'm just going to keep going till I hit.
I want to at least fucking hit the center.
So many that's what she said jokes, Gabe. Yeah, I'm thinking the same exact thing, Gabe.
What's that? I missed that.
There's
What?
lots of what she said jokes going on in here. But 2 in the hole. I can't get it in the hole straight.
There's
no wrong hole.
On this, I've now got the drill through the bottom, through there, and through there. Yes, we should always drink when Tas laughs. There's another one.
You're gonna get drunk.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna get really drunk.
You're gonna get really fucking drunk.
All right. So now that we have discussed that we're not using the thicker wire.
Yay!
All right. So once you have drilled, so at this point I've drilled a hole through the bottom. So let me grab my pointy stick. The hole goes through the bottom and into the next chamber, and then I've got a hole that goes through this top section and out there. So what we want to do is grab wire. Now I'm just going to take out and more than I need because this is just going to stay in that piece until we're ready to actually connect it to the LED way down the line. So I'm just going to cut 2 lengths the same for now. Don't use your good nippers. These are my shitty. I cut wire with nippers.
Yeah, wire cutters, old nippers. Yeah. Not your good nippers.
Yeah, do not use your good nippers to cut wire or you're going to have a bad day. Anyway, so just pull out 2 lengths of wire.
How long?
More than you would think you'd need. So I'm doing mine.
Yeah, you want to keep it, yeah. You're going to want to have it basically, you're going to leave it in that leg through the whole process.
I'm doing about 40 mil of wire.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, 400 mil of wire, 40 centimeters worth. You can obviously do less, but I just sort of dragged a long section out.
So two lengths of that? Yep.
So 2 lengths because you've got your anode and cathode or your positive and negative wire of the LED.
So you got anode and cathode.
Right. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is feed the wires through the holes we have drilled. So I'm going to feed both of them at once. Right.
It helps if you twist them together.
As you can see, like I've hit, because I've gone from the bottom first, which was the 3 holes. I'd rather feed it through the 3 holes, drag it up, and then go through the one. Always find which way is easier. So I'm just going to grab some tweezers now to sort of bend up the wire. So you can see there, now that I've fed the wire through those.
So you twist it, right?
You can.
Cool.
I tend to not because I don't know why. I just don't. And then, so now I've made a loop like that and bent it back around so I can get it into the top. Then we'll just pull that through. And just about halfway. So there you can see. Sorry, just 1 second. So here you can see, like, I've got the wires running through this piece now. And that will do for pretty much that's pretty much the only feeding we need to do right now. I will drill the rest of the holes that we will need, but that's pretty much all you need to worry about. Was that the front or the back? I'm having a hard time remember which side was which. How are you boys going?
It's hard to tell. Well, I'm doing the silhouette frame.
Oh, okay.
So to change it up a little bit, so the leg part looks a lot different. It actually has a knee joint. So I know James and I do joints a little differently. So I've come to a joint here, and I'm debating. I was thinking about either going through the joint and making it posable, but I literally think I can just bypass the joint, go back into the thigh, and then after the armor and everything is on, you wouldn't even tell.
Just have to be different, don't you?
You wouldn't see the way. Well, I kind of do. Isn't it good, though?
Why is that?
I don't know. Isn't it good to be different?
Nah, fuck this.
Not having much luck? What's the problem, man?
It's the holes ain't straight.
Dude, as long as they
be straight.
As long as they go from... As long as they just get it through the cavity.
Yeah. Because you can literally take... As long as you can get it in, like, so there's 3, like, we still have boxes. So, like, as long as you can get it through one or, you can take tweezers and fish it through. Because once you get it through, I mean, that's all. You just need to get it through one time. Because you're going to leave the wire in it, until you wire it up.
Well, what if I do it this way?
Whatever it takes.
The other way,
the other hole exited to the side, and so it's not straight. I'm not even putting it in the actual frame.
So if it looks like it is essentially, as long as you drill a hole and try to keep it as straight as possible through there. Like, I've gone through those because I found it easier. But if I was doing this and I couldn't get a hole through there and there, well, I'd just take my knife or nippers and actually cut a wedge out of that piece, and then you can just sort of tuck the wire in, and you don't have to drill.
Yep.
Because if you just grab your nippers, say looking at this piece for example, I would cut like a wedge, like just quickly nip on a 45-degree angle, and you can see like I've just cut a wedge that, and you could then run the wire in that. So when you clamp the piece over it, the wire would just go through that hole it creates per se. So while Taz is working out how to do that, the next thing I want to do is I am using, which leg is this, left or right? I can't remember. So I've got both wires now coming through the left leg, which is that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole through the top of this joint, which puts me just roughly there. Now I'll put a couple holes in because I don't need, once the ball joint sits in there, you'll see it. We want the wire to have a little bit of flex and freedom, because if you do it too tight, the wire will get stuck and it can cause it to break. It can cause it to be a bit...
You don't want it to bind up. You want it to give it enough slack in the line to move freely without it like...
Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
That's why I'm here, man.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't think of the words to use.
Yay!
So once we do that, we can see we can feed these wires through. And now you can see, like, once I've connected that leg joint, I've got a full range of motion still because I've done such a big hole in the top. So the wires will come through, and no matter where I bend this leg, it's going to work and not cause us any issues. So then the next step is looking at this skirt is, I guess I would actually call that as probably a seam line on the waist we might want to fix too on the skirt.
I was looking at that. I mean, it's molded. If you look at it, is actually like chiseled out.
Yeah, but the top section isn't.
That's true. I mean,
but
There's only
most of
like
it's
5
covered.
feet.
So sort of stuff like that, I wouldn't really care too much about. We could always Danmo the fuck out of that, but I'm not going to tell people to go buy that tool.
I'll tell you to fuck off if you tell me to buy that tool.
What's that?
I said I'll tell you to fuck off if you tell me to buy that tool.
Well, you should buy it anyway, but
well, I should, but it's expensive, man.
Yeah, true.
Not for the payoff. I mean, for the effect, it's not worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Anyway, so the next step from there is I'm just going to drill some holes in the skirt, because once this is assembled, now there's a couple of ways you could do this. You could either drill a hole, you could cut a little wedge out of the plastic just here. I tend to like to drill holes because it sort of gives you a better thing to route, a better place to route your wire. So I'm just going to drill one hole about there on the skirt, and then so you could see the next step would be you'd take these wires and punch the wires through. So then you can see, once looking at that, like now the wires are completely hidden from everywhere. Like you can probably, if you're looking at there's a tiny little bit where you can see the wire just up in there where it comes out of the hole, but it's never going to be seen by anyone. As you can see, the wire comes out the base of the foot joint. That's never going to be seen. And the wire's coming up the top. So the next thing we'll quickly do is route the wire through the base of the foot.
Why the fuck did you get in there?
Now, as you can see with the way we've decided to route the wire is the wire's going to come out the bottom here. Then there's already a slight hole in the bottom of this piece here. So all we need to do now is grab our drill bit, which is directly over this hole, not hill. And we'll just drill another hole straight out the base of the foot. So the next thing you would do with this is grab your pieces, wires through that, run the wires through the next one, and we'll then get through the hole, the wires through there. So that's now coming out the base. We can then attach that, and attach that. So now you can see the wires are like out the bottom of the foot. Once they're in the diorama, you'll never see anything there. So then we're going to pull all this apart in a minute to repair seams and whatnot, but just in the sake of how is it going together. So the next step is to see how this goes together. All right. Now I know I reckon I can feed it through without drilling any holes. So we're just going to jiggle the wires until they sort of poke through. What's up?
Just a random Taz laugh.
I'm so fucking far behind. I'm still trying to put this other wire through the fucking hole.
Hey Taz, I'm still putting wire through the leg, man. It's all good. James is just.
I'm just powering through so everyone can get the rough idea, because otherwise we'll be here for months.
Hey. Get in the fucking hole. Are you too good for your home, man? That's your home.
So once you can see, like, that would go there. We could then attach. Once it's through, it makes it easy just to reattach everything. Wires are hidden. We'll come around the front. And then, obviously, once we get to the point where we're putting the LED in the monowire and such, you'd actually have it soldered here, attach the eye, then you could come through the bottom, and just pull the wires down. So that's the other thing. That's a good way to test
Hey, James,
if you've done it
James,
correctly. If you can grab the wires here and just pull, and it will actually feed it through the kit.
Amen. Will you show me where you put the hole through the skirt again?
So I've just put a hole.
So you went back. You went past this rounded peg part on the foot.
So if I go, if you look underneath here, so it's a bit hard because of the lighting. I've drilled a hole in the top of that, and then drilled a hole just to the side above it.
Of that, okay.
I know what you mean now, man. Fucking
gotcha.
So you got to get rid of this peg. Where's my nippers? Hold on a sec. I forgot my nippers.
So pretty much that's all we need to do now for running those LEDs. Obviously, we'll get to probably the head and the LED in this stream a bit later. We'll do the rest beforehand. We'll fix some seam lines.
So you have to think
and do the LED after.
You have to plan out where the wire is going to go before you fix any seam lines, because you can't run a lot of the times on kits, especially that are more more intricate than this SD. You have to you might want to bury it inside a joint, or you need to figure that out before you start removing seam lines, because you might seal a part up that you want to put a wire through.
100%. I mean, that's why if you're running LEDs, the first thing you ever want to do is work out where your wires are running and work out what you need to paint, what you need to what you got to pretty much joints you've got to paint, if you've got to run wires through it first before paint. It's the same as building a kit normally, except now you're throwing in the extra, I need to put wires into my build as well and figure that all out.
Hey James, where'd you
did you drill a hole through the chest?
What's that? Sorry.
Where did you drill the hole for the skirt? Sorry, man.
So the skirt hole is
skirt hole.
The skirt hole will come up. So work out which leg you're running the wire through. So left or right. Then drill the hole through the joint that the leg plugs into.
Yep.
And then when you come just pretty much on the front skirt piece, just above and in front of the hole, so where it comes up, because you're just trying to run true north pretty much on.
Okay.
You just want to go directly up the whole way.
So I'm gonna use the left leg.
Left.
Yep.
So how did you go through the chest there, James?
So the chest is pretty good, because looking at this, it's fairly, you don't really need to worry about it. So if you look underneath here, because you've got, I'll just piss off that piece, but right here where the connector is for the piping and shit, and the connector goes, you can actually feed, if you look at it directly, see how there's, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the tip of the screw drill I've got through there. So you can actually feed, without drilling any holes, you can actually feed a wire like that.
See, I drilled mine on my skirt went too far. It's not actually, it's outside of the waist a bit.
What do you mean? Whereabouts?
I might have to move it over.
Oh, that shouldn't matter though, because once you sit
can you see this right here? Right there. So it's still got, see, I'm outside of the.
Yeah, but once the pipes are on it, it won't matter because you don't see it.
The hard pipes.
That's true. So how do I go back into the?
Your joints are way different. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, they are a bit different. So this is cool. I mean, so I'm giving people options, James.
There are no options. Oh, which way is the front way? Oh, yeah, that's way. I know now. Fuck's sake.
I'm hammered. Fuck yeah, Ken. Get hammered. I appreciate.
So how are you guys
I'm
going?
hammered. Yay!
How's everyone in the chat coming along?
I'm just looking. Sorry, I have not been ignoring chat, so We have got.
I didn't want to talk over James, so I haven't been kind of trying not to.
Just interrupt as much as possible. James Douglas, man, LED work is tough. Glad I hopped on. No worries, that is what we are here for. George, yep,
yes.
so gonna need to rewatch.
It seems that I can't drill straight fucking holes.
See, I'm like
only
surprised.
Drill bent hole and crooked holes and sideways holes.
Hey, it's all about the bit, man. You're working with a crooked bit, man.
Yep.
you can't get a straight hole.
Can't get a straight hole, man.
Story of your life. Is what it is. Anyway,
I will tell you this, guys, too. Like, so James and I are both using the same colored. We're using a wire that is the same color.
Because we're not wires.
It's like a solid color. It does help. In my normal builds, I use two color wires.
Oh, do you? Aren't you fancy?
So I use a blue. Yeah, my normal builds, I use blue. I use red and green so that you can keep the positive. I know it's not that big of a deal, but it's a little easier.
That's a smart idea, but unfortunately, I can only get this wire locally in this color.
Oh, Radio Shack used to sell. You could get a 3-pack. It actually had 26, 28, and 30 gauge. But now Radio Shack is basically out of business. So,
yay!
I assume Radio Shack was like
because Radio Shack's out of business. So, where do you?
Haven't you ever seen Short Circuit, man?
Yeah, I love that show.
Right, Short Circuit. He goes to Radio Shack when he rebuilds them, and he's like, Oscar, whatever that guy's name is. Whatever, he's all pissed off.
Johnny Five is the best.
And then he's like, Johnny Five is alive, and they're like, I'm been a hero, and they start playing the 80s cheesy music.
Motherfucker, I got wires. I got
wires. He's like, Oscar. And he gets his eyes turned red, and you're like, oh, shit. You done fuck with Johnny Five. He's going to fuck you up. But yeah, he goes to Radio Shack, and he rebuilds them. It's where you can build radios and a shack.
I assume Radio Shack's pretty much like our J car.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about Station, man?
About what?
Man?
Station. Bill and Ted's fucking awesome journey or something, part 2. He built like a
the new
robot.
one?
The second one.
The second one? Oh, yeah.
He built like a whole robot out of like groceries and fucking hardware and shit.
Alright, how you boys going with your wiring?
I'm good. I'm just twisting my two pieces up together. I'm good.
So
I'm just about to the chest.
I'm going to wire it to this bad boy.
So I've just got it through the leg and called it a day. But then pretty much, like, I only was going through the rest of where it was going to go, so you'd have to have a rough idea.
Yes, Radio Shack is now in Hobbytown, George says. Yes, there are Radio Shacks now in Hobbytown. I believe they're online too as well. Now.
All right. So, yeah, once you boys are done drilling, I guess we'll start on seamlines,
eh? Best stream ever.
Yep. Talk about in your endo.
So where do you drill the hole on the foot?
Straight. Straight out the bottom. So looking at this Tas, you want.
Okay. Yep.
If you look at this screen, if you go directly straight down through there.
Just straight down.
Straight down.
Oh, cool.
Like you're pretty much going to come out anywhere on the bottom. It doesn't matter. I'm like out here, but yeah, because there's already a hole in half of this bottom section, and then the hole it goes through is in a peg as well. It's pretty easy just to run directly down.
Damn.
Oh man, I'm doing this shit. Look,
Show us.
Holy shit, Taz is doing it, guys.
I'm doing it.
All right, that's about.
Is my volume really loud? Is my voice really loud?
You're just loud in general. So just.
Well, I know, but my phone's really close to my mouth, more so than usual. So
yes, all you need to do now, Taz, is like punch a hole through the foot, and we can continue on our merry way.
Punching holes.
Punching cones, punching holes, same thing.
You know, I remember like. Enjoying the massage. No happy endings.
See, the moral of this story is
you
if Taz can do it,
Yeah.
anyone can do it.
Amen.
Emily's got like a crooked neck, and she's getting a massage.
Whoa, I'm
jealous. That sounds amazing.
I said no happy endings, and she's like, "Oh, why not?"
Got an Uber headed to Korean barbecue. Oh, I want Korean barbecue, Ken. Don't make me hungry.
I got soy chips. Soy chips.
Nice.
Yeah, because I got the munchies.
We're eating candy.
Can you make the candy?
So, God, who eats food on stream like a jackass?
Courtney and Taz and I.
I've been eating this entire time.
Yeah, but at least the camera's not close enough to you that we can hear you eating.
That's true, yeah.
Is Shane letting you use his tools?
No, I'm not. I'm actually just watching today because I figured if I take all of his tools, this will be like a 3-hour stream times 10. So I'm just watching. He's going to show me how to do all this later.
Fair enough.
So sorry, I gotta.
Does anyone have any further questions in the chat too? While I'm doing nothing.
While we're doing nothing, hey.
What was that, Rob?
What was that, Rob?
I was just running more wide than I need.
Yes.
The body, yeah, more so, yeah. I just realized because it is. I was trying to pull it. It was actually hard to pull, so I gotta disassemble it again, and yeah, it's all good.
How are you, Jay? Yeah, I mean, once you get it through the foot anyway, we're pretty much going to move on from wires for a while.
Yeah, we can. Are you into the head yet at all?
I didn't bother going to the head yet.
Okay.
I was like going to worry, like the head. You sort of want to put the LED in first to figure out where the tail comes for the LED.
And we don't have to seal where there's no seams on the head, so.
And yeah, you don't have to seal the head, so it's a big case of meh.
All right. Well, would you like to see how I ran my wires?
I would love to see how you ran your wires, Shane.
Give me one second. I'm not ready yet. I'm not quite ready yet.
He wasn't ready.
So what's that going to just extend everything out?
Yeah, well, it gives it's not I wouldn't say I'm just kind of doing it to be different. It's not
such a dick.
It's not I kind of like the regular frame better. It gives it more different proportion obviously, but it's more lanky in a sense. Like it doesn't let me just snap it up and I'll show you. I'll show you. Well, here I'll show you the I can do the wire too. Let me show you how to run this wire through this bitch.
So essentially, that frame's just making it taller, and
it gives it knee joints, it gives it elbow joints, and it gives it shoulder some outward, and it gives it more articulation, as James would like to say.
Oh, fucking! It gives it a better range of motion.
James's favorite word is articulation. Everyone.
Articulation is the fucking dumbest word ever.
What up, Jay? Jay's in the house. All right, so what I've done here is I've gone through the foot like James did, obviously, through the bottom. Gone up through here, and instead of going through the joint, I just bypassed it.
Yep. Once you put the armor on, is that visible?
It is very slightly because of this, but I'm just going to paint it the same frame color.
That doesn't annoy me too much.
So that's kind of also, guys, what you're going to have to do. You can do, like, I could drill through this frame. I could drill through this joint, but I just really don't want to.
Yeah, no. I just, like, fucking have a thing about making sure no wire is ever visible.
Whatever. I know you for a fact you paint wires black. Don't give me that bullshit.
I think I did it upside down. Huh?
Like where?
Like where what? You painted wire black?
Did I just...
All right, so you can see a very bit. What do you think? Is that bad, James? Do I fail?
You fail.
Well, what should I do?
Don't worry. Once the diorama's built, you'll never see that.
No, I mean,
anyway.
That's the thing. You're not going to see any of that. It's going to be, you won't see that shit.
With the diorama I'm making, you won't see the arse end of it anyway, so whatever.
But I can, I could just,
yeah.
I could do it
you
differently.
can do whatever you want, but like that's not too bad. But I've seen worse. It's at the back, so it's all good. Just so you know,
I'd like to go through it.
What's that?
Just so you know what?
You would lose points if I was judging that at a competition.
Oh,
Well, what's wrong with it? Visible wise, is that going to be visible?
Because he thinks he'll see it. Well, I could bypass it now. I have holes now.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. All good.
Anyway, moving on.
The point is just whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, that's the point.
All right. Hey, I've done it. Fuck yeah.
Taz has done it, everyone.
Let's see if I can
Taz
do
did it. If Taz can do it, you can do it.
And the best part about Taz's one is you can't see the wires anywhere.
No, you can. Oh, you can.
That's a challenge. All right.
Right there.
It's all right, Taz.
But hey, I don't think there's no. I can't.
No, you just paint it black.
I'm just painting black.
Is Taz's wire visible too?
Yeah, so is mine, to be honest.
If you look, if you really look for it.
But we can just putty that up. Whatever.
I just want to say that I'm really proud of this because this is the first time I've wired anything.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So this is good. This is good.
Nice job, Taz.
Woo! Cheers.
Yay.
Fucking yay! This to me was so intimidating. Even this because I wasn't sure, and I kind of screwed it up a little bit, but hey, it works, and it's there you go. So if I can do it, you can.
Fuck yeah! Do you want to take the next segment? Someone that's not me.
What are we doing?
We're gonna start filling seams, I think.
Alright, I'll do one.
Ooh.
This is how I do seamlines.
Seamlines with Uncle Taz.
With Uncle Taz. So there's no.
So are you taking the shoulder, are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the shoulder.
All right, shoulders.
So,
yay. Ryan, Jason, Geo, I don't think is coming at all tonight.
He has some personal things that he's got to take care of. So, all our thoughts are with him. So there you go. But
there it is.
So that a typical Zaku, I guess, seam, right? I'm going to be using the extra thin cement, the fast quick setting one.
Nice.
If you guys don't have this, any thin cement would do. Mr. Cement, Plastic Magic, and all that should be fine.
The same like it's Mr. Cement S.
Yeah, Mr. Cement S.
This one is their thin version as well, the Mr. Hobby one. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
No, good. So it's good for me anyway. It's good to use thin cement if you're just doing little bits like this. But if you're gonna seal, get rid of a massive seam line, if you're gonna do ships or fuel tanks for the full armor unicorn or the what Gary was building. What did Gary build the other day? That massive
the Deep Striker.
Oh yeah, the Deep Striker. The hard pipes of that has got long seam lines. So you can use just like the normal cement, only because this dries really quickly, and by the time you've kind of done the other bit, maybe it's already dried and evaporated. So if you're gonna do massive kits, I suggest just using a normal thin cement, normal cement. It still does the same thing. So what it does is it welds the plastic, right? So it melts the plastic inside where you're gonna put the glue on. I normally do it on both sides, All right. So when you bind it, and I do like to use clamps sometimes, and it depends on what piece it is. You could just grip the fuck out of it, or rubber bands, or tape. But I do like to use clamps. Um, yeah. So once that's binding, it'll melt the inside, and once it's melted, you can sand it, and it's because it's melted the inside parts, then that seam line just disappear. But when you do sand it, sometimes there might be the faintest like thin like hairline that you can see. Don't worry about that so much. Just run your fingernail through it. If you can feel some kind of some kind of texture or something, or a bump, or like a groove, give it a prime, and that'll show you mistakes. But usually, when that happens, I'll do it again. I'll just sand the hell out of it. Do the plastic cement again. If it doesn't work, then if it's only small, I'll use my sludge glue, which I've made out of old thin cement and cut up runners. So, but keep in mind, guys, that this is melted styrene in this, so it's not like putty. So it's different. Like it's got a.
So just for the people back at home, with the old thin cement, how much cement to sprue ratio is that?
Oh, right. It doesn't matter. I go less more, and then I just have a look after a few minutes, and then if I'm happy with it, I'll leave it. If not, I'll keep adding more to be a bit more sludgier.
What sort of consistency? What sort of consistency are you looking for?
Now is like pourable putty, I guess.
Yeah. So just
it's not hard
thin
like putty,
cement,
but it's not runny like cement. It's just in between.
So you just cut up your runners as well, just in small little chunks, and just drop them in.
Small little chunks, whack it in there. So I'm gonna put this into my old thin cement now because my thin cement's running out.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna keep adding more putty on. More styrene on there.
Yeah. So when you pretty much run out of that cement, you just pour the rest in.
Mm-hmm.
Throw some more sprues in.
Yep.
It's essentially like a sprue glue.
It's a sprue glue. I call it sludge glue, whatever. Fucking yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's it, guys. But let's do one and see how we go.
All right, take it away.
So,
on camera, please.
Hang on, I'm trying to get rid of the thing. So I didn't do the cutting the peg trick, and now it's taking me ages to
get it back apart.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's falling. Because we're not professionals.
No.
Anyway.
All right. So
this is the first time I've actually used this thin cement quick setting.
You'll find it dries before you can clamp pieces together.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that. So I was thinking about mine the other day.
I found with that quick, I've got to actually pretty much put the pieces already together and then just paint over. Like, it'll dry too quickly for you to do it the way you're about to do it, Taz, guaranteed.
Guaranteed, yeah, I think so too, because I just spilled some on my hand and it's already dried. I spilled some on the mat and it's dried, so...
Okay.
I might just do it in one piece.
Yeah, it's pretty much with that quick setting stuff, it's one piece. But it's good because you can, like, run it through and then if you just press down, you'll see the glue bead out, like, straight away once you run the glue over the joint.
Mm-hmm. So what you do is you press it right, and you should have, like, if I did it both sides, you should start seeing, like, tiny beads. And some people don't do it, some people do. I do when I clamp it, I just run another
layer over the top,
layer of thin cement on top, and wait that to dry. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's dried really quickly, hasn't it? There it is. But I will run one then. I will run one. It's now I prefer getting rid of like curved seamlines and curved surfaces. I find it's easier to sand.
100%.
Yeah.
So pretty much you've like put it through, beaded it, and now you're just letting that sort of putting a bit more on, letting it go. So you're going to clamp that now, or?
I am going to clamp it if I can find my clamps, which I thought I had. You just use a rubber band as well. Totally up to you guys. The only thing is, I think it might ruin the shape. So I might just use an elastic band if I can find one.
A lot of time, I've literally, if you're using that quick drying, you might just hold it.
Yeah, with the quick cement, I find I generally just hold it till it beads and it dries quick enough. The reason the quick setting cement is better than the regular thin is pretty much in 5 minutes we'll be sanding it and cleaning it up. Whereas normally the other cement, you have to wait a bit longer for it to dry properly. G'day, Bailey. How are we?
Hey, what up, Bailey?
G'day. So usually with stuff like this, I'll let it like set, go outside, smoke some weed, come back and start sanding. But
yeah, so this stuff should be a fair bit quicker.
Mm-hmm. So give it a... And there is this top bit as well that you gotta watch out for. Might put putty on that, like the top bit there.
Yep, the little spike tip.
Little spike tip.
Yep, just because it's got such a big hole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, big cavity surrounding it.
So yeah, they carved it. But that's another thing, guys.
What's up?
Be wary about as well.
What's up, Daft? You're having a bit of a chuckle there.
Just cavities and holes and.
Fucking Jesus Christ! Get your mind out of the gutter, mate.
My mind is always in the gutter. That's where it belongs. That's where everyone's mind belongs. I do have a treat for you, and when I'm watching when Taz is done with his seam. James, what seam are you going to do, or do you?
I will take the one with the wire in the leg, I guess.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool.
Unless you want that one.
No, but so what are you going to use? How is your method going to differ?
Mine, you know what? You just do whatever you want, but mine and Taz's method is pretty much the same.
Okay.
And when I say pretty much, I mean it's exactly the same.
I'm pretty sure mine might be exactly the same too.
Yeah, I think so. Well, pretty much there's other ways to do seams, but we're all shit.
I mean, you guys can go the putty route as well.
Yeah, but that takes too long.
But that takes ages.
The other way I will tend to use, like if I've got to fill a seam line, like say instead of putty, super glue is a shit ton better. Because
we're children. Look, we're messing. We're fucking plastic right now.
Yeah, but like super glue works a lot better because one, you can scribe it. Two, it dries pretty much instantly.
Yeah,
I would highly recommend super glue over putty.
I would too. The liquid, the ultra liquid control super glue is the shit.
Well, yeah, I mean it's probably cheaper than my Zapagap, which I use a lot of the time, which is
probably
not the cheapest stuff in the world, but I really like it.
Then you can also use that. You can also use the accelerator too if you're into that sort of thing.
So, like that's why I've got that and the Zip Kicker, which is the Zapagap branded one.
That smells so good, man. I've got the
what's up with that? Why does the accelerator smell so good?
I don't know.
So good, dude.
I'm gonna spray it on my shit and then spray it in my hair.
I love that.
It's like a good deodorant.
Your hands are weird though.
Yeah, if you get it on your hands, it's like oily. It's like, what is it?
And then I recently also did get this
like glittery, like I don't know, it's wet but dry.
Yeah, I wanna try that, James.
So I recently got sent this to test out the MadWorks Black Super. So this is essentially just a super glue, but it's one black and two it is thicker.
That's what she said.
So like it goes on
like gel.
It's almost like a gel. It's thicker than normal super glue, and it sands and dries.
Gel?
What's that?
Have you used super glue gel?
it's not like that. This is more liquidy than the gel super glue. But yeah, for surprise, like this fill seems amazing. This is really good for I fucked up scribing, which is what they sell it as. It's like you just fucked up when you were scribing.
Well, Ryan, you can glue your esophagus together.
Wasn't Ryan like at work?
He got off at like 10, I think. 10 or 11.
Oh well. All good. So, do you want to show some stuff while we're at it, Shane?
Yes, I would love to. So, since you're a cunt,
talk all the time.
Since you're a cunt and said I couldn't have a wire showing, now the wire does not show.
Good work. I'm proud of you.
And I'll have to fucking fix this whole but there is motion in the
See, like that wasn't so hard, was it? Fuck.
No, it wasn't hard. I just it wasn't hard, and I'll show you at home, everyone. So basically, what you do is there's a channel in this bit.
It's out of focus.
Well,
there we go.
How's that? Better? There's a channel in this bit, and then there's a channel in here. Ignore that circle. That's my previous hole, obviously. So what you do is when you put the joint together. Why are you guys laughing? So
sorry.
No.
Previous hole.
So when you drill through, so you had your previous hole that goes all the way through. If you just drill, you make one, extend it as far as you'd want it to go one way, and drill a hole all the way through. Luckily, mine came right out the bottom, and so mine will go right into the hip joint. So then pull it out of the hole a bit, just the tip. and then you can roll the joint. See, I know this. I'm doing this on purpose. So then you roll the joint. See, I don't have that much. You could even go further if you wanted to, but the further you go, the less material you're going to have because you're going to take more out. So I went this far.
Previous hole.
Drill a hole. Then you'll come back here and you'll see one hole on the outside because that's the first hole you drilled. So when you pull this apart, you'll have a hole here, and you'll have a hole on one side and a hole on the other side. Then you can just drill one or two holes and then just make that a channel.
Awesome. Yeah, okay.
So then when you're changing the channel.
Say what?
Don't worry. Ignore me.
To all that's what?
It's all good. Keep going.
No,
give the people what they want. Just give the people what they want. Jesus.
Is that what they want? So all the way through. Right like that, like butter.
Oh, straight in there, straight in that hole and out the other side.
Damn, you like that? That was professional. That was professional.
Oh, fucking about time you did something right.
Oh. Hey, at least they showed up, okay? At least I'm here.
This is why we need Geo here, because normally I just pay out on him.
No, well, do you guys watch Park and Rec? It's like someone has to be the Jerry. It's like if Jerry's not there, then whoever's the lowest on the totem pole is Jerry. It's like, fuck, I don't want to be Jerry. I'll be Jerry. It's cool.
Ah, so good.
So that's how I just made James look like an ass.
No, it's how I just pushed you to better yourself.
Oh,
yeah, I like that.
Well,
that's good.
There you go. Fuck off, James. So yeah. Jesus crevices. Oh, is this what's going on? What's going on? To all that people is saying, what am I saying now? Bailey says, to all that Shane is saying now. Oh my God.
So are you going to show some seam line removal?
Oh, I thought you were doing that.
I was waiting for you. That was your turn.
Oh, okay. I was talking about wires and shit. So I'm gonna do this little army piece right here. This
I've already started sanding, so.
Jesus, Taz.
Catch up, fellas. Fuck's sake.
Jesus, Taz.
So what I'm doing is I go from 4, 6, 12. Because I
didn't realize we'd bypass the seam line part and move straight onto sanding.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I should do all the seam lines first. Yeah, all right. Sorry.
So order of operations, Taz.
So what are we doing? So he's doing yes. We're doing sanding now.
Oh no!
No.
Just do some more seams. Show the people.
All the seams.
So I'm going to use Tamiya extra thin, just the regular shite.
You know what?
And I'm going to do it on this arms joint. Here's the normal seam. It runs right down the. Stop using my gross finger that I got some like the fingernails falling off. Here you go.
Oh, nice, sexy.
No, not so much. I'm going to be using some clamps if I can. Clamp. And I'm going to slather the shit on here.
These thin cement are also great for adding texture to your pieces as well.
Oh, 100% agree.
And for smoothing out nice panel lines that you've newly scribed.
Ooh yeah.
Ooh yeah, learned that from my mate James.
Learned that from Ghost of Xeon.
Nice. See, we learned it from somewhere.
This quick dry smells funny.
Yeah, I know it's slightly different. It's good. I like it.
Was I off camera? I don't even know.
See, you should have done what I did, man. I've put some tape on my cutting mat so I know what's on camera and what's off camera.
Well, so you see, I did, and then I looked at the YouTube, and when it goes over to YouTube, it actually makes it a wider angle. So, I've been able to see your tape on screen the whole time.
Oh, really? Son of a bitch.
You fucking jackass.
What a chump.
What now?
I just did a daft.
Oh.
Made an idiot of myself.
Just did a daft. All right, so.
For now, that is known as doing that.
I am going to clamp this bad boy. So normally as well,
learn, pass. Exactly, Bailey.
If you're doing inner frames and whatnot, you'd paint your inner frame first, I guess.
Yes.
And do this.
Unless you like masking.
Yeah. So this I will be masking, so that's kind of a bitch. But James wanted to do seam line removal, and I was like, well, I want to paint my frame. He's like, well, mask it. All right, fine.
Did you?
You never mentioned that at the start, mate.
Is there
son of a bitch.
The one on the skirt is a panel line, yeah, for sure.
Up to the side is so. I'm just gonna let that dry. So here we go, clamp. I've got the nice raised little oozy bit coming out the middle.
Don't you hate when you accidentally have glue on your thumb and you squeeze the bits together and you just put a nice thumbprint and everything?
Yeah.
Hey, it's yours, and it's yours for if you've signed it at that point.
Yep. So, like I said, this part's the exciting part for everyone to watch because it's just filling seams.
Yeah, I'm sure we've all seen this a million times.
So you're aware, Daft, if you're going to run LEDs through the BMAX, you might want to drill the arm joints now.
I'm only going to do one arm because I'm going to do the other one once I do that. So.
All right, cool. Just thought I would put it out there in case you forgot about it.
Thanks there, buddy.
Just looking out for you, man.
I might have already fucked it up, actually. I may have just done the wrong arm, actually.
Hold on. There is a way to cut out the pegs to slide the frame pieces in for painting, but it's tedious on this kit. Yeah, I mean, you can always do that so you can slide it in and out and glue it, but it's not,
Yeah.
Usually I'll just paint the frame before I do the seam line removal, because whatever. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, mask it. Yeah, just paint it and then put it in and, encase it, and it just sucks if you, by chance...
Is the hole an inch and a half from the other hole? Jesus Christ, possibly.
Could be.
My problem with the cutting so you can remove frames and stuff is you sort of got to make a way that it just sort of stops in place, and then you just got to glue it there after the fact anyway, which is slightly annoying. But masking is relaxing anyway.
Fuck, I hate masking. Fuck you guys. You guys are psychos.
So
James, so how would you? So while we're talking about masking right now, so say I fill the seam on this hand, right?
Wait, sorry. Let me go.
So I fill the seam like I'm doing on this one. I'm filling the seam, right? So
Yep.
How would you go about painting this frame? How would you just mask like a motherfucker?
Yeah, pretty much. I would have you pretty much want to paint the frame second. I would probably paint
really?
I'd paint I would paint the main part of the suit first, and then because the main part of the suit's easier to mask than the frame.
Yeah, it would be at this point. I mean,
at this point, like you would have an easier time masking the main part and doing the frame second.
Yeah.
So, like, usually I would paint the outside first, then mask all that up, and then paint the frame second. But if I was doing it the other way, I would have, before the seam line removal, I would usually paint the frame first, put it in, then mask that up.
That's what I do usually with most of my, like, HGs that I've done. You know, I usually paint the frame and then encase them. And
HGs, I hand paint. I hand paint the exposed metal bits, and that's it.
Well, that's probably a better way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we'll just do. I've got like the 2 legs to quickly seam line, so we may as well.
I'm doing that.
That now. So, same way Taz does his shit. So we've got the wires and it all assembled. So same deal. I just tend to have it together and then lather on the extra thin.
Bathe it, slap it on the base,
and then I will just push it because I don't have clamps. I tend to just like push it as hard as I can till it beads. Like if you can see, like the glue beading out there, and then till it beads, you'll just see it like ooze out, and then just lather it on again. I'm going to be doing a fuck ton of. Oops, I put too much on there, but doesn't matter. Whatever. Minor details. We're going to sand and scribe. What's that?
Are we putting water slides on this?
Yes.
Have you guys,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we'll be doing water slides. Why not?
Cool.
That way we can learn your art of weathering water slides.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah,
do you want to? Yes.
So that way, like, we fill the seams and these wires just stay in because it's a lot easier to run the wires now, fix your seam line, and just leave the wires on as you do mods and paint. So pre-planning is important for shit like that. I guess after these seam lines are filled, we do we do mold line removal next?
Mm-hmm. Also,
I was looking at something on my piece right here. I'd like to get rid of.
So with a seam running through a panel line like this with the arm, that's okay. You can kind of sand that. You'll just rescribe it anyway. So don't feel the need to like you're gonna get like a tiny bit of fucking sandpaper and sand between the lines type thing. So you can sand away at that.
Oh, just, for sure.
Rescribe it afterwards. I mean, you can try not sand it. It's up to you, but it'll be easier if you just do.
Exactly. So I think that's pretty much.
Still some that's a mold line there, and it's funny how it runs through, like the center.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's weird. It has that little notch detail on the wrist, but
the one on the skirt. I reckon we can call that a panel line. It's thick enough for a panel.
It's that close. I would probably call it a panel line.
Break it up. What's going on?
Yeah, we can totally call it a panel line.
I will probably Danmo mine out of there, but that's just because I can.
The next thing is like the pipes, like the mold line.
Mold line, pipes, on the pipes.
The head on my frame, they're pretty bad. All
right, so seam lines done. Yes, I've officially filled all mine.
So does anyone in the chat have anything?
Any questions in the chat?
doing the last one, bro. And
Hard
because
piping.
I didn't do the peg trick. That's right.
Let's see if anyone. Let's wait for the chat.
I'm looking at the chat. Bailey, there's a third-party kit for this. There's a third-party set for this kit. What is there?
For what?
For this SD. What's the third-party kit involved?
Yeah. Drowns leg and glue. Whatever minor details.
Typical me.
All right. Things falling apart on IG. That was his kit of this one. Huh. I don't remember that. Water slide. Oh yeah, he does have. Does he have? Okay, we're talking about. Okay, we're talking about water slides.
Sweet. I wonder if we can find them easily.
I really don't think we. I mean, we don't have to get. I think we can probably find any.
I'm just gonna. I've got some just generic warning stickers. I'm gonna put on the bazooka and probably leftover Xeon logos.
Nah.
I'm not gonna bother
Really
buying shit for an SD.
Yeah, true. I've got to find what I got floating around.
Yeah, we can. Everyone should have some.
So I've gotten a shipment from Sam Decals, but it's the DL model ones. Yeah, they're not bad. I don't know if you guys have used them.
I've got one set of them.
I reckon it's better than Bandai in the sense of you don't have to put on a high gloss coat to get rid of the borders and shit. So I'll put it on a matte surface and it blended perfectly.
Oh no!
You can't do that with Bandai ones. It has to be a gloss. Like you.
No, I've used like the Bandai ones. I find it like I've never had an issue with ever.
No, I mean like on a matte surface, you can still see. Yeah, I've had trouble with that shit so many times, man. Like, is it called silvering where you can see the border?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had, and then just pumping it with like softeners, and it still would not, show. Because I do top coat with matte first, and it's only now that I'm going, oh shit, I got to do gloss first, put the water slides, and then go back to matte. But this one, it just melted, bro. It was nice. I only did like one, I think maybe one coating. One coating of the first coating of the softener, and then another one afterwards, and it was fine.
No.
On a matte coat, so that was brilliant. So they're not bad. But like, yeah, you can't like as far as like the prints and shit like that. Like you can read the caution and the warning letters you can, but after that, they're just like tiny little dots. Like I made up like one word weapon. That was it. The rest are just tiny little squiggly lines.
All right, Shane, seeing how you like moved on to the next do you want to explain to people what you're doing here?
Sure. So what I'm doing is you can see this mold line right here. Maybe if it's focus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will tell you this. When I look at other people's builds, the first thing I look for are mold lines people leave.
Oh, 100%.
And I mean, like, no one. People just start, like, literally everyone out there that's watching, just start looking for mold lines. They're really prevalent in, like, 1/35 figs, just right down the side,
Yeah.
And that's just from where the two halves of, like, the mold are put together, and it just creates a line as they can't do shit about it.
And they're bad. They're really bad on them. They're bad right here. They're really bad on, like, older MG kits. On bigger paint, it's just on rounded bits. They're always usually there. But so what I'm doing now is I'm taking my ceramic scraper, and I take it. So I'm doing like this kind of motion, but I just take it and I go and just take that shit right off. And I'm gonna go in with some sandpaper and round it out a little more, but That's all I do to get rid of that shit.
Yeah. Also, you'll find in 1/35 like ejector pins too.
Yeah.
Little flash that's usually under
Yeah.
surfaces.
Bandai are pretty good these days, and you don't see that shit anymore.
No, I've seen it more on older MG kits, really, and a lot of those hard graph.
What are you using there, Taz? What is that, a ceramic scraper too?
Yeah, just the blade though. I didn't buy the whole fucking thing. I only bought the blade.
I got the thin bladed ones.
Up here for thinking. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was only like $10, and like the whole knife was like, I don't know, X amount. I can't remember, but it was more than $10. So I'm like, no, fuck it. I'm just gonna buy the replacement blade for that knife.
You'll see the difference though between, say, that and like something like this, which has a very thick blade. So if you look at
mine,
blade you'll be
ours
using,
are about the same thickness, James. Like mine.
So I've got those two types, and this one's like paper thin, and that one's thick as shit.
Yeah, it is pretty thin.
So this, I find I don't use the thin one too much except for narrow spaces, whereas this will get into bigger spaces. Now, I know most people will not have a ceramic scraper. So the way before I used to remove these lines, I would tend to get a file. So I use a lot of the Tamiya basic files and just, as per usual, just sand them away with just use the file to remove. Don't worry too much about being.
I will tell you, the mobile Haro kit, that new mobile, the mobile Haro kit has mold lines on every round piece of that whole fucking kit.
Yeah.
God.
They're kind of a bitch to remove too, because they're like, I just spit. They're kind of a bitch to remove because they're on that softer plastic. So
yeah. So anyway, I'll just lightly run the file to get rid of them, just because the thing is, not everyone is going to have a ceramic scraper as much as I recommend you buy one. And then this is just some 400 grit sandpaper. I'll just sort of go over that again.
So you use 400, I use 6.
I'll go up to a range of different grits. If you need to get into in between, a lot of people also, they'll remove just the
outer
mold line on the top.
They're not getting in the
inside of each of these little grooves, the mold line does continue, and so many people will leave that, and it's really noticeable on the transition to the high point to the low point. You will see that so much. Like when you look at anyone's models of these, they always, if they've gone to the effort to remove the top, so many times you see they don't go to the effort to remove the in-between mold lines, which is probably worse than leaving it over the whole thing.
I'm guilty of that, man.
So you're gonna do something. It's like don't half-ass it, man.
Yeah, don't half-ass it if you do it. So just using this, I'll either use a small round file to just get in there. You can use the edge of your knife as well. So instead of a ceramic scraper, I used to sit there and just use the edge of my knife and just scrape, and then go on the angle.
Yeah, and also as well, if you think you're gonna get away with it from on the weathering perspective, no, that will shine
because they'll catch the shit. Because
yeah.
If that's in a recess and it's a detail in a recess, it's gonna pick up some shit.
It's gonna pick up. So if you're gonna do washes over it, especially pigment, that will get caught.
Just gonna highlight that shit. Like, oh hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will. I'll actually highlight it, not hide it.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, look at that. Yeah. So,
and if you notice as well on this, this top pipe here, I'll show you the other side.
Yeah, there's just no detail at all.
That seam line stops. The line that runs around actually is flat over this section.
Yeah.
So just to get that detail is I'll use just my knife and actually just sort of push on the angle both ways and just cut that plastic out just to give it that extra line. So if you don't have chisels, that's a good way of just adding that extra bit of continuing that detail around. And on this kit, it's quite large, so you can get away with doing it like that.
Yeah, on this kit, I mean, it's so big you could literally take a piece of sandpaper and just fold it up and do it.
Hence the reason I'll come in with my file as well and just.
What part is that? Oh, the fucking the
waist pipes.
This is the waist pipes.
I'm still doing the head.
We haven't moved on to the head.
That's fun.
Oh, you guys. Oh, okay.
So, just go through, clean your. Make sure, like, the more time you spend now, the better it'll come out when you're in your painting section.
Yeah.
Like
the best thing we can learn in this hobby is patience. I think everyone. So it's like you want to take your time in this shit because it shows later.
Actually, I was thinking as well. After we prime it, we should all have a look at, and before we go into the next stage, everyone primes it. Give it, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. Have a look and see what we need to do, and we can, whatever needs fixing, whatever seam lines are still visible, or gouge marks or whatever. We can, I guess, use the rest of the episode to fix that up, and then the next could be straight into base coats.
Yep.
Maybe.
So I think the next after this will be teaching, although this episode's like getting close to everything we'd planned to show, and it was a bit quicker than I thought it was going to take.
Yeah. Right.
So do you want to move on? We're pretty much good for mold line removal. I mean, the rest I'll show off camera anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, does anyone have any questions about anything we've talked about at this point?
You know why you enjoyed the piping on this Zaku? Because I'm actually quite enjoying it on this kit too. It's large and it's very
it's large.
It's
like
just
large.
You
just like large pipes.
The whole reason I like it, it's just large and it's not detailed enough that I've got to do too much work to it.
I was wondering when that's going to come up.
It's it's not detailed enough and it's large.
Correct.
I like it too. I just am. I'm even putting this detail on the top just with my ceramic scriber.
You what, sorry?
So I'm putting that detail on the top of that.
Yep.
That you just do with your knife. With my ceramic scraper. I said scriber, but.
Yeah, same shit, different day.
Did I just snap that?
What's your snap?
The pipe. No,
I just snap the pipe.
It's all good. No, it's all good. I think
so Taz is got the strongest grip out of any of us.
I just fucking snap shit, man.
He has the strongest grip.
So
he just breaks
delicate.
it.
He just breaks stuff.
Just break him. Fucking gorilla grip.
He doesn't know his own strength.
Don't give a fuck.
So the other reason, most of the time, I'll sit there and remove mold lines with a file and come in afterwards with my ceramic scraper, because ceramic scrapers are also extremely good at removing file lines. So a lot of the time I will file something and then just you come in with the ceramic scraper afterwards, just give it and then a light sand with 400, 600, and it's just smooth as fuck.
So I do file. I go ceramic scraper. That's my method of nubs and of sanding in general on these kits. Is I do a file, I do my ceramic scraper, and then I do a sanding stick, which is like these. I cut these in half, so they're about twice as long. And these are 320, and then I go, what is it, 600 or 800, depending on what I have lying around. Then I just do 1,000. So that's it. I usually just do other than beside this stick, I do 600 and 400 and then 1,000.
All right. Do you want to go on with cleaning up your seam lines, Taz, that you have filled?
Yeah, I can.
You can give the people what they want.
What do you guys want? All right. So I'm gonna come back to that mold line removal, but I think I'm gonna use my file. And I'm the clumsiest because I keep dropping shit.
At least no one spilled some glue today.
No,
Not yet.
No,
I could do one for my homies.
So what I do is I go from 4, 6 to 12.
So, do you go straight to sandpaper?
Mm-hmm.
Don't file it or anything first? Or
You don't file or anything?
Not on the round bits. Not on the round bits. I tend to go sandpaper.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Straight up. It just feels, I know, it feels more comfortable.
It feels right. It feels right.
But
and you know what they say, if it feels right, you should do it.
It must be right.
But what if it's illegal?
Hey.
Anyway.
Why does something so wrong feel so right?
So for I mean, these are all straight up anyway. I mean, curved seams. So I'm just gonna use a sandpaper. But for flat lines,
do you have chin, Bailey?
Like for flat lines like this, for instance, yeah, I'll probably file it. Like for that, I will file it.
All right. So, carry on.
Carry on. So 4, 6, 12. You can go to more higher grids. You can start doing the buffing and polishing and stuff like that. If you're not going to paint it, I don't bother. I just really try to smooth it out with a 12 and just clean the shit out of it. Because a good primer or surfacer should hide all that shit anyway. But that's totally up to you. And plus, by that time, I would have been, sick of sanding shit, and I just want to paint.
That's why I just go like to I stop at 1,000 or I just use you know what I mean. I don't. You're gonna
stop at 600.
There you go. Okay.
So
you guys just do what
who's my
what was works for you.
But so the seams coming from there, and I just sanded that bit, and that's I don't know if you can zoom it or not. No, but that line there is gone at the bottom there. So you just continue on. Like I said, after you've done your 12 or
how's that how's that top spike gone with the little knobby bit?
Oh, I haven't done that yet. I'm working my way up to that. And also, don't forget you got this underside too. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of people tend to miss those bits as well. I noticed that a lot when I was judging the last competition, and you check all the inside parts, and people just skip that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I don't like online competitions where everything's just photo, because you can hide shit where you're being lazy like that.
See, that's why I don't like the online kind of. I don't think it should be.
Well done.
I know,
online.
Oh my god!
Because you can hide so many bad building habits in a photo.
No,
I mean,
I'm sure.
I know I do it a lot, where I just tend to
She's up on the bed and she's
skip things and don't show properly what I'm doing.
I am.
Awesome. She just had a massage and amazed how tiny Asians can actually be strong.
No, I thought she was going to break my ribs.
And she's like this tiny little Asian chick.
Tiny little Thai girl.
How do you know she's Thai?
Because it's a Thai massage place.
Okay.
Maybe she's from.
Ending.
Anyway. La Viva Thai massage.
La Viva, that's so Thai.
Le Viva.
Le Viva.
Le Viva.
Anyway.
Le Viver. Oui.
Oui.
I can't see.
How are we going there, Taz?
Good, man. Good, mate. She's good.
So just giving it a bit of a rub back and forth. Now, you're not putting much pressure or anything on there at all, are you?
No.
It's just a nice light sand.
Yeah, because it's curved, so try not to lose that curve when you're sanding. So go with the curvature of the piece. Because instead of just going like fucking flat like that, it's gonna square. You're gonna flatten.
Yeah. So on rounded bits, I like to use like the sanding sponges, which are nice to have.
Yeah, that as well. That is a really good idea. I used to be a painter, and I sand everything by hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that habit just fucking stayed with me. I do have sanding sponges and sanding sticks. I just find it more therapeutic with your hand. See, you guys love masking and shit. I like to sand.
It will be nice, but when you do on a flat surface, you may round off the edges when you're doing it by hand.
That's why you.
How do you combat that?
Three or four fingers, usually three.
Usually three.
You know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
No,
I know what you mean.
And just sand it in one motion, not back and forth. I find it's more precise if you just start sanding in one.
3 or 4 fingers, not
three
back
or four
and forth.
Oh, that's how I like this, 3
or 4 fingers back and forth.
Yeah, 3 fingers, 2 fingers.
In one direction.
In one direction.
Oh, so not back and forth. So not in and out.
Not back
in.
Not in and out. Just
in.
That's
just
like,
in.
But with the curved bits, yeah, you can go back and forth with the curve.
Wow, that's deep.
I can anyway. I do. What's deep?
I don't know.
I love it.
Good times. How riveting is watching people sand plastic.
I know, right?
And glue plastic.
Gluing plastic. That's what I was trying to tell. I'm like, I really didn't want to do this episode because it's like the really boring part of building models.
Yeah.
It's important though.
This is important though.
I know, that's the thing. I'm like, it's important enough that we got to teach people because we got to assume there's like new people that don't know the basics, what they're doing as well. So,
but yeah, it's just removing seam lines. I said you guys don't have to fucking do it. You do whatever you want, but if you wanted to make it, look good, because they do stand out like dog's balls when you paint your kits or whether
exactly.
So
yeah, that's any of this like mold lines, nubs. You put paint on that shit, and it's like, oh hey, look at that.
Yeah, it sticks out like dog's balls.
Like a dog's balls.
Just straight out there, large and in charge.
Large and in charge. Just
that's a boy dog.
Along.
That is a boy dog.
Well.
How's the chat going anyway? Thanks, Phil. I agree. Like it's boring for the more skilled people to kind of watch fucking 3 dudes like sand some plastic and glue some plastic, but like the running of the wires, not everyone's good at. And this will just give more. Yeah, and this will just give more perspective on making a good model great again.
I love that. That's what I'm talking about.
Fun times.
And so sorry. After this episode is what armor detail?
Yeah, so we'll be doing. So yeah, the next after this we'll be focusing on detailing, scribing. Oh, probably scratch building first.
What are we going to
do? Ooh,
like because
so what are we going to be scratch building?
We want to scratch build and add on to this kit, and then once we've done all that, then we'll do some scribing as well.
Yeah.
So the next one will be, well, what do you want to add to the kit, boys?
Well, I think we should maybe put that out to everyone that's building this, maybe.
Because, well, the way I see it, because the way I see it is, we'll come up with something we can put plans out for as well.
Okay.
So, like, you know how I want to do the shoulder cannon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you do want to do that.
So then I could like draw all the parts we need to cut and then have them up on I'll like post them to my Facebook or Instagram so people can actually download a template that I've designed.
Ooh, that's a little more in depth. That's crazy. Yeah, that sounds great.
So something like that. Do you need to add like, and then we'll go through and add little like plastic squares and little detail bits all over the kit as well.
And whatever.
Like the little armor plates and add-ons. Is there anything you can think of, Shane, that you want to show people how to make to add on to this thing?
Not really.
You're the scratch build guy.
I
know. I mean, that's what I was like. You want to? You're gonna do the shoulder cannon?
Like, do you want to do modifications to the head, or do you want to do?
Well, I was thinking about doing a mohawk. Like, so I don't know how cool that would be. We could do, we could do some sort of head adornment, and
yeah. I mean, like, we'll discuss it over the next week anyway. But we just got to tell people to buy some like claw plate and stuff.
Yeah, well, I was thinking so I could we could literally get we could get some 0.5 mil sheet, and I'm sure you're gonna need some you're gonna have some strips, right?
Yeah, so we'll need like some sheet and maybe some tubing.
Depending on the cannon, how you want to make the tubing, whatever. But we just take some strip and I can basically show you how to make boxes, but so we can make a box depending on how. We could do a rounded box, or basically how you can make like cylinders or fuel tanks and stuff. I mean, we could do, but I can show you how to make things rounded.
That'd be cool.
How about we get rid of this and fashion something similar, like a leg cannon, but different, I guess.
Make it look better than that one.
Yeah, make it look better than that one, or mod this one into looking something better.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea as well. Because the other thing we're going to show is how to make the back of this hand not look so shit, because at the moment that back of the hand is a big hole, so we'll get some pla plate and
this
fill it in, make it look
looks pretty
nicer than what it is.
Are we not going to use the bazooka? So I think ideally we should get rid of this bit here.
Let's fill that hole in as well, because I'm not going to have it. If anything, the weapons are going to just be mounted on the side of the diorama building that will be produced.
Okay, so
I might make a little. I'm tempted for the diorama. We might actually have a little weapons rack in the building holding these.
Weapons rack.
Yeah, I would think that would be amazing. Why not?
Because that'd be kind of fun to build.
It'd be really fun to build.
So that'll all come down the line, but for now, I don't think I'm going to have any weapons in the hand for what I'm working on.
Well,
okay.
I want to have at least the blaster rifle, gun at least.
And see, that's the thing. We can all do our own little spin on it. Where are you going to attach the back for the shoulder cannon, James, on this backpack?
So I was thinking, well, you've got the backpack here. I was thinking to the side of the backpack.
Yeah.
So
just thinking, when I was looking, you mentioned to me that idea, and I'm looking at this, just the armature to get a cannon to be mounted on top.
Otherwise, I was thinking,
you're going to need some sort of, which is great because we can make joints. We can make,
that's why I was looking at it as.
We could even
joints.
we could make a telescoping arm where it would fold in on itself and then it could fold out.
Yeah, we'll
where it could
there
fold down something like this, but it could.
We'll sit there and work out plans anyway for it.
I wanted the chicken on his head.
See, that's what I'm saying. We could put a comb. That's what I'm saying. I could do. I'm good at getting two shapes and making a 3D object that looks like it's been a cookie cut. I don't know. So we could make. You could have a mohawk or any sort of shape. So I was you could have it where it's spiky, or it could be completely rounded, or it could be jagged.
No, I mean, I actually want a chicken.
You want to put a chicken head on it? No, I'm talking about this. We'll put a chicken head on it.
So what? Yeah, what I reckon though, what we could do off the shoulder cannon? Let's just mount it to the back of the fucking arm behind the shield. You got a nice flat space to work with. Directly off the back of the arm. That could work. Anyway, we'll discuss it over the next week or so and work out what we're going to do and let the people know what they'll need. So, do you want to...
So, hang on, I'll show the people. So,
all right, so
we did have a different gun hand at one point.
I will be back in a second.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Do it. So that's pretty much gone.
A rooster comb? Yeah, exactly, Bailey. Yeah, I'm thinking like a rooster comb or like anything. So like we could. I mean, I don't know if James is going to do a shoulder cannon. Like what? And he has weapons. His weapons are nice too. Go ahead, Rob.
Cannon. I wouldn't mind doing a shoulder cannon, but I wanna fix this up. Like at least put.
Yeah, well, I can. I mean, we can come up with some different options for these fucking things. The leg bazookas.
And that's pretty cool surface to put scribes on and shit as well. So as far
we could literally just make these. We could make these different. We could scratch build this whole thing and make it more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
We could.
Exactly.
I don't know. These legs fucking suck, though. I know that.
I reckon I want to finish some of the seamlines off camera properly. I just want to show you how we do it.
Yeah. What is Phil? Oh God, Phil! What is Phil saying here in the thing?
So yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Like I said, there's the faintest of lines there, but as I run my nail through it, I can't feel any like bumps or anything. So
yeah, and I think a lot of this stuff I do by feel. So like, I mean, I rub my fingernail across it, and if I don't feel anything, I mean, you're gonna see it when you prime it, but
you're gonna see it when you prime it. So primer tells.
Yeah, so I mean, I do all my sanding and shit like this by feel, and until I can't feel it, especially with like mold lines too. I mean, a lot of them you can see, but I just go by feel, and then once you prime it, you'll for sure know if it's gone or not.
Once you prime it, primer is your friend.
Primer is your friend. It's subarm though. You want to make a subarm?
Manuel.
All right. Do you want to punch the LED through the head?
Punch it. If you want, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man.
All right. So,
you guys seen enough seam line removal for one day?
I'm pretty sure they know how a seam line removal works for now. All right. Now, me and Daft are going to do it slightly different from each other, I believe, because we're using different LEDs. So, at the moment, I'm using, just because I didn't have any others floating around, and I know Taz has got the same, we're using these 5mm dome LEDs, like the big standard ones everyone's seen. They're huge.
They're huge.
Normally, I normally wouldn't use these things because they're horrid. My usual LEDs I use.
Are they horrible?
For mono eyes, these ones, which are... I picked these up at the local, what do you call it, like electronic store. They are a SMD, like they're a little dome LED going.
What does SMD stand for, James?
Something
Sex, money, drugs.
diode.
SMD, surface mount diode, maybe?
Yeah, that's the one.
So surface, so the difference between, I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm trying to help people out. So I know. So like a normal LED is like this, where it has.
Hold on.
I don't have any. I can grab my SMDs, but so a normal SMD has the cathode and the anode on, just two leads coming up, right? So you mount them in any orientation. A surface mount is like what James has in his hand. Did you have those again, James?
Oh yeah, sorry. They look like they're just like a flat piece of shit.
Yeah, so they're made to be mounted on a surface. Hence SMD. So when you guys are searching for some of them are tiny.
So
a lot of all your like strip lighting. Yeah.
So these are 0402s, which are the smallest you can get.
Yeah, it's fucking tiny.
which is what I put in most of my kits.
Yeah, I had to special order these big guys because I 3 mils the biggest I've ever used up to this point. So
surface mount device, yeah, something like that. Thanks.
Same size.
Old school. George, what would we do without you? All right, so
That's for sex money.
Straight to
the reason
my bad.
The reason I've gone for a 5mm LED is because I measured this hole and it is actually 5mm.
Yeah.
So therefore, what we're going to do is drill out. This is a hole I put in previously, so you're going to repeat use of the original clear piece in the eye, aren't you, Daft?
Yes, I do. So that's I'm going to be.
All right,
I'm going to be using a pink LED, and it's going to have the pink. You're going to be able to use the pink glass piece still in it.
All right, so mine.
What are you chopping off?
Mine. All right, so first things first. Sorry. All right, so I'm not. The way I'm using with this is we're just going to use the round of this LED as it's.
First things first. Where's your crapper?
My crapper.
Which way to the crap? I need to drop off some timbers.
First things first. Where's your crapper? I need to drop off some timbers.
The fuck?
All right, continue.
Are we done?
Yeah, that's it. I just needed to interject that.
All right, cool. All right, so second thing is, so first just grab a pin vise, smash the biggest hole. I don't actually have a big, normally I'd tell you to use a 5mm drill bit, but I currently do not have one in my possession, which is kind of annoying. So I'm just going to use my knife to, after I've drilled the first hole, to cut away as much of this plastic as possible. But as I could say, you know what? I swear I've got a 5mm drill bit somewhere. I swear. How big is this thing? That's probably a bit bigger.
Yeah, that does look a little bit bigger.
That is a 5.5. This is, oh God, what the hell's 15th 64ths? Oh, that's not metric.
Classiness level, Midwestern U.S. Yes, Phil. That's
5mm. There we go. I do have a 5mm bit.
How did you know, Phil?
I bet you I don't have a holder that will actually hold 5mm.
Probably not.
Typical.
I would guess no.
I'm going to guess no, too. Well,
at that point, I get my pliers out.
That's when I just do it by hand.
Yep.
So, drill out. This drill bit's blunt as fuck. All right. So, because I've drilled, this is like really not planned for.
Are they trashed?
I think so.
So I'm just using a file now to file as much as I possibly can.
We are the salt of the earth. Yeah, we are, Phil.
Have you got a big enough drill bit to do yours first, Daft, while I
Yes, I do, actually.
Through this? We may as well go to you first then.
Okay, cool. So what I've done here is I literally put like a pilot mark with my hobby knife in the middle of as far as I can tell. I'm just going to go and put a pilot hole in it with the drill bit I had from running the LEDs, which I'm not sure what size, but pretty small. Oh, God. Holy fuck.
Let's get serious.
Yeah, you can do that too. You could always do that. And I can tell right now that my hole is not centered whatsoever.
Pretty bad.
So the question is, yeah, I'm just gonna drill it out with like a 3mm.
Yeah, that'll work.
That'll
Bro. I'm good.
Yeah, you are.
I'll let you do your thing first.
So I'm going with like a 3 mil now, and then I'm going to use files. You can go from here from now.
And file
Basically,
it out
going to go in there with a file and file out bigger, just because my this literally is 5 perfect. Yep. So if my hole, I mean, it's like taking a shot in the dark. If my hole's off center, it's going to go into the walls of this, which I don't want to do because then the plastic bit won't be able to snap in there nice. So I want to be able to just take care and not sure. I don't want to go into the walls of that recessed bit at all.
All right. So thanks for stopping by, Bailey. I'll just flick back.
Yeah, Bailey. Hey, thanks, man.
So I've just got it in this vise, and I'm just going to force my drill in.
Good God.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. You're using power tools on a piece of plastic.
So anyway, now that I've drilled out that hole, something launched across my room.
Nice.
What the hell launched? Don't know.
Was it a piece of your vise?
No, the vise is still good. But something like literally launched up and hit the back wall and has fallen behind my desk, never to be seen again, and I have no idea what it was.
Well, hopefully it wasn't important.
Yeah. Anyway, so now that I've drilled out that, as you can see here, we'll just give it a bit of a file. That works quite well. And look, that fits beautifully. But obviously that's not the way I want to go, because we want to come in from the back section, get some backdoor action.
Oh, let me stop you right there and say, hey, for everyone that's listening that didn't hear me before.
Yes.
If you live in the U.S. and would like some LEDs and some wire for this project, DM me your address in Instagram, on Instagram, on Instagram, and I'll send you some of the shit.
All right, so here you can see I've drilled a 5 mil bit through there, and that's made the LED sit quite nicely in the end. And as you can see hither, see, so it's going to sit through the back there. So
look at that.
We'll protrude a little bit, and that's pretty much, I will glue it in place. I also crack the top, but whatever. It is what it is.
Protuberance.
These things happen.
Get that protuberance.
Making up words again. So then the next thing we will do is just bend the legs of that down. We can then come along and fix that and that. So I'll eventually glue this LED, but because I don't need to just now, I'm actually pretty happy with where it sits. And then one thing I always recommend doing is just constantly testing and making sure your LEDs work. So when you put them in, just make sure they light up. I've just got a battery resistor, 9-volt battery standard resistor, so I can quickly test all my LEDs, which is good. So that works. And then obviously the only thing is with these, how you've got that pin to make the
that's not going to work
thing
anymore.
Move left and right. You're pretty much gluing this shit in place. So decide which way you want your LED to face as well, because as I'm going to show you, I've got to cut this peg off the top because it's not going to actually fit in where the LED where it should go normally. So pretty much it's a case of cut that off and glue this in place, because otherwise we're not going to get it through. So I'll just grab my pin vise anyway, and I'm just going to chop that top section off now because whatever. And then if we just push out that bottom piece.
Hey, James, what does it look like on the bottom of yours? Like, show me the base of your, so maybe that's what, was it this connective bit that flew off maybe when you...
What's that?
Was it a chunk of that shit that flew?
Hold on, let me look at yours.
See how mine has... That part's gone on yours, isn't it?
Yes, it is actually. Yeah, so I broke that piece out. Yeah, that must.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That piece, yes, that's exactly what because I'm trying to file through that piece right now.
Mine
and looking at yours. That's me. So that no, I don't think anything important flew.
Good deal. So yeah, you just want to keep filing and cleaning out the hole as best as possible.
You got to clean the hole, man.
Man, no one wants a dirty hole.
Nah. I don't think anyone does.
Do you punch it like where? Give me a look, sorry, bro. Give me a look.
Sorry, what do you need to see?
The inside. So
at the moment, I have just drilled straight directly through the hole at the front.
Get a block out.
And then
love this block.
Oh, you push it down. Yeah, right. Cool.
So then we can work out whereabouts. I've cut the peg off my.
Still got a file.
Thingamajiggy.
Good. I'm so glad.
So looking where that goes, the pins probably want to punch through the center point here, which is right where this peg is, which is not ideal. So what I'm actually thinking about doing is not bending it directly. Yeah, that'll work well. Good. So I'm going to, looking at this piece, I'm going to cut away the back section of the head. So just use your nips to...
Use the nips.
Use the nips. I love the nips. All about them nips. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to go the hack and remove these two sections.
Oh, God.
It's a lot of, like, LED work is generally a lot of making shit up as you go along.
It's trial and error. You're like, hey, I want to put a light in there, and I got to figure out how to fucking do it.
So, because I haven't, like, sat there and figured it out before I've gone on stream, it is more exactly how it looks when I normally do it.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm doing. So I was trying to drill out this back bit that your piece had fly.
Yeah.
And now I'm just getting the nippers out because I don't need that piece at all.
So then, once I've done that, because I've cut away that peg, it's all right. I can then extend. I know with the LED legs, I actually want to go further than I was last time. So we shall put that on, and it's a case of forcing stuff. Make sure as well that the arms of the LED don't touch, because that will short out the LED and you will not be able to light it up. So that's now, the legs should be far enough back that when I put on this, yeah, cool. So see how the LED legs are now coming out the back here. So I'm just going to drill 2 holes. And the reason I'm doing 2 is so the legs definitely don't touch each other. Just behind that center division. So if I grab the pin vise again, and we'll put hole number 1 and 2 left and right of each other. Fun fact, don't put your finger behind where you're drilling, or you will drill into your finger. I've done it before, and I will probably do it again.
Did you put the LED through the back or through the front?
What's that? Through the back.
Through the back?
Yeah, so you want to push it from the back side out the hole.
So I fully got to get rid of these fucking things, right? Jesus.
So yeah, you want to drill out that hole as much as you can. So as you see here, I've drilled the 2 holes. I'm just getting the legs to poke through, and we shall force our way in. And that looks like it should actually work quite well. And then once that's all together, you should be able to just reassemble the head with everything in there. might actually need to, judging by this. See, this is where it gets tricky because you got to start working out like what you need to cut away for things to work. I think I actually need to take off more of that center post, but depending if the head fits on, no, might be all right. So that's all assembled now. The LED is in there, so I can grab my test battery kit again.
So cool.
And we'll just connect up the wires. And there you go. So that's one lit up mono wire. Now, did you get all that, Taz?
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, no?
Yeah, nah. Nah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah,
nah. Give us a look at where you're at.
Hang on a second. I'm still filing fucking holes in the head. Oh, yeah, okay.
How are you going, Shane? You're slightly off camera there.
Sorry, slightly.
Yeah, that's good.
I am gotten the. So now I'm just getting. There's a little more material back here I need to remove without coming into the.
Oh, fully got it. Oops.
That reason that you can kind of see that lip right there. I'm just trying to remove that just so.
Oh yeah.
I put this behind. You can see it's just catching right there.
Oh yeah, I get you.
So I'm just trying to remove that so it will sit like you can see right here. It will literally. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be boop right there, and then that little bit.
like what? Sorry.
Like boop.
Yeah.
Like boop.
Yeah.
Just
See,
like
now
that. And then,
all right.
I still
Give
need to
us-
carve out.
Oh, take it apart first, Taz. Don't leave the back on it.
Like that.
Like that's 2 halves.
Oh, fuck off. Really?
What?
Fuck, I didn't know that.
So I'll show you what I've done on
built
mine.
it.
Oh, gosh.
So Taz, so you can just have a quick look at the screen I'll show you. So this is the 2 halves. So if you pull the back section off, you want to, drill your hole out and remove that bottom section. So it's removed from the front. Slide your LED in the back like so. So from the bottom, it'll look like that. You'll need to remove all that bottom section of plastic that's just there.
Oh, yeah.
And then that way it'll just poke through that little hole. Yeah?
Yep.
And then on this back piece here, you want to just cut away some of that flat section. So that way when you have the 2 legs of the LED, they just stick out past the center post of this. So you want to cut that center post off there. I've drilled 2 holes just behind it, if you can see those.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, once the center post is going to run up and pretty much touch where the LED was, and then when you put this on, you just want to feed those 2 arms through that through the holes, through the 2 holes, and then that'll sit quite nicely just in there.
It's your light. Give me a look at your light in front. Oh, it's not. Okay. So that'll do then, I think. Something like
enough
this,
that
maybe?
it sort of just pokes through. Show me the front side of that now. Yeah, pro. Yeah, that's fine, man.
Sweet. Okay, and then...
Like, if you might want to go a touch further, if you can.
I think I can. Can I? Yep.
I think I can.
You want the eye just protruding. So like side on. So side on mine, it'll look. I don't know if you can see it, but it just protrudes. Just the tip.
Just the tip protrudes.
Just the tip. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyone have any questions in the chat while you're there? While I am actually paying attention to the chat?
Haha.
Success.
Yeah, now it's just picture.
Yeah.
So
Give
are
us
we
a-
gonna worry about light? Oh no, we'll do that later. Yeah, like
What's that, sorry?
light
bleed,
bleeds and
light
shit
bleed.
now.
Yeah, we'll figure that out later.
This sort of kit won't really worry about light bleed that much. It's not like the LEDs inside. Anything that's going to bleed through, it's all black. You'll be pretty good.
So bend the wires down.
So you want to bend the wires down past that center post. So see that second pit you've got that you're putting on? You want to cut away the back part of the plastic. So if you look back at my other side, turn it around. All right, so see where your thumbnail is? Your thumb is?
Right there.
Yeah, so you want to cut. So look at mine right now. Right there, I've cut that section away back here.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Okay.
Oh, shit, yeah. Look at that.
So when you cut that back away, because looking at this, right,
Mm-hmm.
you want the wires of the LED to actually come past this center post and then come down the back.
Okay. So,
But you just want to cut that raised section of the center post off because it'll be in your way otherwise as well.
did you just put putty in that or not?
What?
What's that? Oh, you just cut it off. Sorry, I thought there was putty in it.
No, I just cut it off. How are you going, Shane?
Made swimmingly.
Swimmingly? So
I've got...
How's yours looking? Show the people.
I've got the LED in here like so.
Oh, nice.
So it's all nice and flush inside there.
Yep, so does the pink bit go back in?
And then the pink little bit will just go right
Way
in
cool.
like that.
Very nice. Will you need to glue that in, or is it falling? Will that fall out now?
It's kind of the pink bit.
Yeah, the pink bits.
The pink bits in there good, man.
Oh, good, nice.
Pink bits all.
No, like I shouldn't have to glue that in. So that's that. Let me come back to me in a second. I'll have it. I'll light it up for you.
Is it moist?
Yeah, cool.
Did you moisten it with the glue?
You always have to moisten it. Dude, okay. If anyone can take a note, the first thing is you have to moisten it.
What, the pink bits?
The pink bits have to be moistened.
Ah, that's where I've been going wrong this whole time.
No one has fun if the pink bits aren't moistened.
I'm going in dry.
No, thank you.
Just well. Yeah, cool. I think all in all, that worked better than intended, to be honest.
Can't do it.
Yeah, we'll dull that LED down some with the Arduino code because it's a bit bright for my liking. But it works very well.
Haha.
We'll probably make it flicker and stuff and do some cool shit. How's yours looking, Death? Oh, that's some nice pink action. That looks good.
Pink eye, man. You got to have the pink eye.
Damn it. We got the red eye.
Pink on pink. So, yeah, I mean, there's like no light bleed at all once we have it all sealed. I don't think we'll have to do much of anything.
Nah, not at all.
Thanks
for stopping by, Gary, man.
Later, Gary. I like to go to the dollar store and you can buy you'll buy a string of like Christmas lights or like you'll find this package of AA and it'll be connected to a string of LED lights. So if you just cut it off, it's 3 volts. So this is what I use to test my LEDs.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's 3 volts. I don't, I usually just run 3 volts. So
yeah, so my test pack that I use is I went to the electronics store and bought a connector for a 9-volt battery.
Nice.
And then I just soldered a resistor to one end, and then I just tested that.
Why do we not pronounce the L in solder?
What's that?
Why do we not pronounce the L in solder?
I don't know. It's weird as shit because I've always said
It is
solder
weird.
and I solder
I know.
things, and you guys are like, I solder this. I'm gonna solder this to this, and I'm like, there's an L in there, buddy.
Well, I just know what I'm taught, right? So
yeah, I know. I thought it was like, am I pronouncing it wrong? But there's an L there.
There's 100% an L there, but I'm gonna keep saying solder.
So
Gary, quick question.
Shane
Gary,
would not.
what's the question?
Quick question. No, he does not need a resistor, though, George.
Not if you use 3 volts. If you use 3 volts, you do not need a resistor because most LEDs, unless you're doing what are higher than blue? Does blue take 1.7?
Gary, it does not matter. Usually, I like to put them on the negative side, but it makes no difference whatsoever. As long as there's a resistor in line,
yep,
you will be fine. It can be on the pos or neg, doesn't matter.
If there's a resistor in line, you'll be fine.
Exactly. I like that. Write that down.
Write that down. Resistor in line.
What grammar reeks of New Zealand? Slaughter?
Yeah.
Slaughter?
So it all depends. Like, yeah,
slaughter,
if you're using a 3-volt power source, no resistor, like look up the resistance of the LEDs you're using. They'll generally have a spec sheet with them. It'll tell them how much voltage they need.
So, rule of thumb, whites, I believe, I don't know, I have them all written down, but the vast majority take 3 volts, or they take like 2.8 to fire. But I think blues and greens are like 1.7. So if you want that color, I could be wrong. Blues and whites might be the same.
Pretty much most of it you can get away with powering them directly off 3 volts and no resistor.
Yeah. It's like red maybe. But what I usually do is just take whites and I just paint them.
Yeah. Because the other thing I want to make note of to those people is if you are using, say, red and blue, the red will steal all the power and the blue will not light up if they're in the same circuit. So that's why I tend to use the exact... If I'm doing like one power source for my LEDs, I'll use the same LED and just paint them the same because clear, it's a lot easier. But if you're doing it with an Arduino, you don't need to worry about that shit. Just power them off a different pin.
If you are running them in parallel, will they still not fire?
No, they'll still not fire because so if you're running them in parallel and shit, they still won't fire because if you've got like say 3 red in line and then you got like 2 blue in line, but they're all directly connected to the same battery, the other ones will pull more power. Like the red will actually pull more amperage and cause the blue not to light up.
Now, is that just based on if you up the amperage, will that fire then, or is that no?
I'm pretty sure it won't because for some reason the red just decide, all the power is mine and take more amperage.
Like, no, we want all the power.
So that's pretty much why I tend to use Arduinos to power everything because then I can run as many different colored LEDs in as I possibly want, as long as they're connected to different pins.
My head's not seem to be sitting properly. Is it supposed to sit like...
Sorry. Is it going down far enough?
Yeah, it's just not.
Where have you got the wires coming out the back?
There. Oh.
All right, so...
Yep.
All right, so what could be happening is your LED might be hitting the center post. How much of that center post did you cut off?
Oh, that center post is fucking gone, dude.
Yep, cool. All right, so when you put the LED, put the eye back in then. So try to insert it the way it should be.
Yeah.
Just the way it should be, man. Yeah, just put it in. Just slip it in.
The way it should be.
Yeah, it's got... Hang on.
What are you hitting?
And the other leg, yeah.
The cervix.
Hang on a second.
Oh, and so you know that that mono eye does actually sit higher than you think it should. I'm like, why isn't that going in? But then I realized it actually sits a bit higher than I thought it was originally supposed to.
Let's try it again.
We can't see.
Yeah. Could have positioned these fucking pins. Yeah.
Whispering secrets.
Talking about bear guys.
Is
Talking about panda bear guys.
Is the center post coming through? Are you too far forward, mate?
Don't know. No, it just doesn't seem to be sitting right.
Don't know.
All right, so I'll just run back to what I also.
Yeah, no, there it is. There, right there.
You got it in?
Yeah, she's in, baby.
So now just throw the headpiece on. What are you two giggling at? No secrets.
You and Taz, or just Taz, really?
Me? What did I do?
This is the most sexually driven stream ever.
I don't know about
and we
you
had
guys.
the love stream and all.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Oh,
what'd you say, James?
Maybe you should get a good drill.
I think that may be a bit too short.
A good root.
The pins?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about them for now. They're actually going to be shorter by the time we're done.
They're in.
Bro.
Way shorter. Woohoo!
So, essentially those
Man, that's the first for me. That's exciting.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yay!
I'm fucking stoked.
Fuck yeah!
That's why I thought it was a good idea to do like an SD because it's big, so you can work with bigger LEDs. It's a lot easier to put an LED like this in a kit than it is a small thing.
How can I test it?
Do you have a battery?
Just a battery?
Do you have a 3? You need 2 AA's or a 3 volt or
2 AA's.
Did you give him a resistor?
No, I didn't give him a resistor.
What the fuck?
I've got 2 AA's right here.
You give him an LED and don't give him a resistor?
Do I need a resistor?
Well, I wasn't going to worry about resistors till the end of once we don't need to do that till we've got the wiring and the diorama set up.
Yeah, I could see that, but
all right. So how do I test it?
All right. So you want to connect the arse end of both LED batteries. So you need to connect 2 of them, like pos to neg. So put them like that.
Pos to neg.
And then connect a wire from each of those sides to each of the legs on the LED.
Oh, yeah, true. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. So while Taz does that,
I am
Chris,
figuring out where to. Oh, shite. Who do I? Who's in here, Chris? Man. Hey, Chris. I'm bending some wires to. I'm gonna try to not take out as much post as you did. We'll see.
Yeah, I find that sits directly over the post though.
It may. Okay. All right. It may. How much post did you take out? All of the top?
The whole thing, the whole top section.
All the way where there's a small where it changes size.
Yeah, that top thin section. I just cut that clean off.
What did you cut it with?
Just the nips.
Your nippet?
I just grabbed my nips. I just cut it direct. I didn't even do that. I just cut it straight off.
You just cut it straight off? You're nuts. Do that with your god hands, buddy.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
When God hands are fucked anyway.
I'm gonna rewatch the video and see.
I did them with these ones, that are pretty much the same as God hands.
Oh, no, but they're not, James.
They're a single blade, thin blade piece of shit nipper.
Yeah, what's up with single blade nippers stuck in balls?
Yeah. Oh, they're fucking shit house.
Courtney hates them.
Hate him.
I hate him.
We all hate them.
We all hate them all.
I just wish my Tamiya's went so fucked. I got to buy a new pair of them.
Yeah, you need the 1, 2, 3s, motherfucker. These are the shit.
They're the ones I've got.
I bought 2 pairs in the last fucking week. No, you don't. Oh, did you have the 1, 2, 3s? Did you get them?
That's these.
I like them.
You said you didn't like. You said you didn't have the 1, 2, 3s.
No, these are the ones I've got. Same ones.
You had the 3, 5s.
No, the 1, 2, 3s.
Don't tell me.
The only problem is I accidentally chipped the tip, so I just hand them flat.
That's not good. Chip the tip.
Always chipping the tip.
I can't find any batteries. No, still something to remote.
Any wires? Are you still trying to light up your LED, mate?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he is.
Aside from, so we've gone over installing the LED in the head. We've gone over pre-drilling and running wires through parts. We've gone over nub removal. I mean, seam lines, wiring. What else did we need to show while we're here? Anything? Do you guys have any other questions for us? Because I think that's pretty much the majority of what we had planned for today.
I think you're right. I think I don't know if we were going to work on the head or not, but I'm glad we got that.
Sorry?
I'm not sure if we were planning on doing the head or not, but I'm glad we got that.
The head LED was the last thing I thought we'd cover in this stream. So next week we will be doing some, what do you call it?
Scratch building? Modifying?
Scratch building. So we'll start detailing the kit, add some scratch building.
First things first, we're going to take care of this gaping hole in the hand.
Yep, we'll take care of that gaping chasm.
Catch a chasm.
I will be drinking more beers.
Yay!
As per usual.
As per usual.
Do
you guys like the? We're gonna build a shoulder cannon. Be cool to put a rooster comb on this bitch, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's give him a rooster comb. That'd be cool.
I don't know what else stylized. I mean, like, okay, so like a normal Zaku. I mean, we're gonna add detail here. You know, we're gonna add some
describing episode. Add some. Do you reckon we add?
Yeah, we'll add some detail here. We're gonna remove this. You know, that'll be some sawing, filling, chopping. I don't know if we necessarily need a saw for that, but
just sand it, file it down, whatever.
We should think about maybe getting what tools we want people to get maybe too. Like I
reckon next episode we'll just tell them to buy various bits of styrene.
Yeah,
that's cheap.
Also, I would say we need to get I don't know, what do you guys use for building?
What do you mean?
Like, do you use just like I would suggest getting a chisel blade. You don't need to get this big one, but
Jesus Christ, I've never like.
Yeah, you like that?
I've
you
never
like the chisel blade? Who needs a fucking chopper when you've got that, dude?
Jesus. Yeah, no, I've never used those, man.
So
fucking blade shit, man.
Basically, so get this and this, and you don't need a chopper, man.
Dude, I'm gonna need a T-square as well. I can't believe I haven't got one of those yet.
I still don't have
T-square,
one either.
This right here is the best. This is my favorite tool in my entire toolbox.
T is for turtle.
T is for turtle.
T is for turtle. Yeah. So hopefully, guys, as well, like by the next episode, I'm assuming you guys out there would have had the Zaku all cleaned up, seam line removed, and everything like that.
Yeah, just for sure. So.
Yeah, and so
by 2 weeks,
it shouldn't take that long.
Yeah, 2 weeks to fill some seam lines, put an LED in the head. I mean, if you don't want to do LED work, fine, don't worry about it. You don't have to. But that is if you want to do it. That's how you do it.
If you don't want to if you don't want to fix the seams and shit, don't do it. You know, you don't have to do any. You don't have to do any of this.
Seams.
You don't have to do all of it. You can do
none
of it.
Don't listen to Daft. If you're doing it, fix the seams. Don't be a dick.
Well, don't be a dick, but if you want to, if you're happy with it having seams, then
You're wrong.
well, James says you're wrong.
But so yeah, next week we'll go over detailing. So we'll be gluing a shitload of plastic to the kit. Over the next few days, we'll discuss in our chat anyway what we're going to recommend you buy to build along. But we will be doing scratch built modifications, some detailing, and then probably the week after that we'll go over scribing. And pretty much scribing. I reckon scribing won't take a whole episode, so we might get scribing and preparing for paint done in one episode.
Yeah, we might get that done.
You should, Witchy. I'm glad you enjoyed, but yeah, you should buy one. It will be fun. We've got big plans for this little guy.
Yeah, we've got very big plans for this guy. This guy's going to be
the diorama.
Oh, Giant Mega! You better believe we're going to be doing some grieving.
Some grieving. If we find if we've got some greaves.
Or something close to it. We'll figure it out. We'll
be making our own. Is this just the SD? What? Yeah,
it's just the SDCS Zaku, Chris. Yeah. So it is literally this son of a bitch. Nice and cheap, nice and easy.
Cheap and easy.
Cheap and nasty.
So hopefully, pretty much the plan is that it shouldn't be more than $20 worth of things to buy per episode that we're recommending. So it's works out to about $10 a week.
Yeah,
if you need, but most of the time you're going to have probably most of the stuff we're going to be using.
Geo, you're going to use it after you're done here too. All of this stuff you're going to take with you, hopefully, to all of your builds from here on out. And so, this is an investment in your future. So buy the tools and stuff, and it'll be good, right?
For sure.
Why is that funny?
Nothing. It's an investment for your future, man. I'm agreeing with you.
It is. It's invested in your in your modeling future.
Geo was supposed to airbrush. Well, we'll see what happens. So, we'll be doing once. I think we won't. No paint is going to see this kit for probably a month or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fucking so itching to paint this bad boy.
I know. I really want to paint, but fortnightly streams, it is a thing. So it is what it is. If you guys have any suggestions or want to know more, just once again, contact either one of us. We're more than happy to fill out and answer all your questions. Anything else, boys?
Well, I might as well do a little plug. I shaved my head today.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit. Shaved his head.
I'm just trying to think, do you normally have a hat on?
Just kidding. I was going to say, so I've hit 2,000 followers. Thanks, guys. That's fucking brilliant, and I do appreciate and love your support. And so, as a token of my esteem, I already posted something on my wall. I'm giving away the Dom, the Dom test type that I recently painted as a thank you to you guys, I guess. So, just, I don't know, what did I say to do? I guess repost that photo, tag me so I fucking write your names down and put a draw, and just hashtag Uncle Taz's 2K giveaway so I know as well. And
Uncle Taz?
Hey?
Uncle Taz.
Uncle Taz. I feel like being that dirty old uncle.
Uncle Tati.
Parties, Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that's just, like I said, a little token of my appreciation to you guys. So thank you very much. I was just going to give away a kit, but I thought, it's better if it's something that I made and painted. So it's a bit more personal, not just I don't like this kit anymore. Fucking here you go. And what else was I going to say? That is, I am going to draw that on the 2nd of April. I was going to do it on the 1st of April, but If you guys know me, you might think that it's an April Fool's joke. So I thought, I better not do it on the 1st of April. But yeah, so get on that. Just like I said, repost the Dom pic or something else, and just tag me. And yeah, Uncle Taz's 2K giveaway.
Awesome. What about you, Shane? Got anything else to spruik or say, or?
Not much. Stay tuned. Stay with us, guys. Again, if you guys wanting to light this Zaku up and need some wire and LEDs, I got 100 extra LEDs, so I'm trying to get rid of them. So if you want some, I'm going to drop them, just send them in an envelope. So if you want to build this with us and need some lights and some wire, until my wire runs out, I will send it to you. So hit me up on Instagram and DM. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to get this kit, but if it would be really cool to see how many people can get this Zaku and do it.
And also, like on Instagram, if you tag what is it, the T4HM build along is the hashtag. So
T4HM build along.
So if you just tag that and any posts relating to this, that'd be really cool, so we can see what everyone's doing at the same time. But yeah, so next week 2 weeks from now will be the scratch build episode. 2 weeks after that will be scribing. 2 weeks after that will be finally painting something.
So in 6 weeks we should be painting.
In 6 weeks, we should be painting. Where does that put us? What month? I'm just trying to look, because there is going to be a period where we miss a stream because I'm in Japan.
Oh.
So that's...
Bring it to Japan with you and come stream along.
What's that?
Yeah,
bring it to Japan with you.
I think we'll actually get some painting done before I go, so we're good.
Awesome.
Nice.
So
yeah, also as well, people, feedback is awesome too, guys. So drop some comments on any of our pages and on Zaku Boy's YouTube page. Yeah, so just feedback is awesome, because
like, even if you want to tell us we suck.
Soy crisps are fucking beautiful.
If you want to tell us we suck, that's fine too.
Yeah, you can tell us whatever you want. But if you're gonna tell us we suck, then we're gonna probably not be happy. I don't care. But these soy crisps are beautiful, man. These are great. I want to eat the rest of these because I'm hungry. Is that it?
I believe so.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like Witchy, there's more than enough time in the world to join in. Like, we could be 10 months into this thing, and you're more than welcome to just join in at any point. These videos will constantly be up on my these videos will always be up on my YouTube, so they're able to watch back. My plan is to after every episode, I will film another quick recap of the stream as well in short form, just so you can see what we covered and sort of explain, and then also just throw out a video so I can let you guys know what's happening the next episode and what you'll need to have on board for the next episode. So yeah, like, don't feel pressured to run out and join in straight away or ever. No. But if you want to, like, just buy the kit and you can, like, catch up to what we're doing, because we're only doing it once a fortnight, so you can catch up on everything we're doing pretty easily. Not dependent on our time frame.
No, I had a gent message me and ask me. He's like, "Oh, I'm not going to make it to the stream. Like, I'm like, it sucks." I'm like, "Well, you can watch it. It'll be up." So,
it's not.
As well, we're gonna have special guests to pop around.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, James, because if you want.
All right. So the plan is to have special guests, so we're going to be looking at people that are building along with us. So if we see people that are using the 4 Horsemen or whatever the Build Along hashtag is on Instagram. We might message you asking you to join in on a stream if you're cool with that. We just want some more community involvement, so that way we can have someone else as well jump in on the stream that might have more questions for us or ask us things that they want to know. And what did you spill, Taz?
I missed. I was throwing soya chips up in the air and trying to catch it with my mouth, and I missed all 3 of them. Sorry.
So, yeah, we will be looking out for people that are doing things like Building Along, and we will be asking you if you want to join in on an episode. That way, yeah, you'll be able to directly ask questions. So
we're looking for people. So, if you're joining along and you've never scratch built, we want you to be involved in our stream so we can be here and so the viewers can see what it's like for someone that's never done it before.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool, so, not some people probably don't want to do that, but it'd be cool to, for us to be able to walk people through it that have never done it. So if you guys are following along and are interested, I think, in doing that, maybe you should hit one of us up because, we want to definitely get people that are interested in wanting to do that. So.
Yeah, for sure. If you've got anything you're building along and you've got I want to learn scribing, hit me up and we'll get you on the scribing episode. If you want to learn weathering with Taz, fucking hit us up.
We're gonna have a waiting list for that one.
Yeah, I know. So dioramas, hit us up and we'll get you on an episode of that. So on and so forth. But we'll be putting out what we're doing in advance.
That's the kind of thing. This is gonna be a slow process, and it's gonna be 2 weeks in advance. And at any point you can start, at any point you can go back. So it's very not structured. If that's the word.
Pretty loose.
Unstructured.
Pretty loose, mate. It's all loose.
Loose.
Man, that's how we like it.
That way we can incorporate as many people into it as possible and just get as many people involved as possible, so you're not just staring at us the whole time.
Yeah, totally. Hey, thanks, Phil. It was all James' idea. James is the mastermind.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's a thing.
Anything else?
Anyway,
sorry.
Oh yeah, go on, mate.
I was gonna say lastly before we go to Gunpla Geo, I hope I think there's something going on with his sister. I just hope everything in your family's going good, mate. Fucking, we're looking out for you, bro. So hope she gets better soon and everything goes back to normal again. But either way, it's all good. Take your time, bro.
And so if no one else has any other questions, we might end the stream for today. Yeah, you guys done?
Yeah, I'm done, man. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for coming out and watching. All the people that are in the chat, thanks for chatting.
It has been a pleasure, Phil, Witchy, Ryan, Jay, fucking George. We're just trying to flick through and see who's actually watching.
Everyone have a good rest of your weekend.
Everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend. For me and Taz, the Sunday afternoon.
Looks like a moustache.
That's the other thing I say. If you're in Australia and you're wanting to join in, I know the CS Zaku is not due another shipment into Australia till the 24th of April, I believe I was told.
Mm-hmm. So,
you can be starting at the end of April because of Australia. So, but anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We will catch you next time. From the 4 Horsemen to you, thanks for watching. We will see you in 2 weeks and online through Instagram before that.
All right,
peace
out.
Later, guys.
Ciao.